All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am trying something totally new out here, and we're going to be joined by some other folks here in a moment as well, so bear with me. I can't promise how this thing's going to turn out. We're talking about it, 2K22, at it again. Let me see if I can do this here. First time ever using StreamYard. No other folks that use it. Here's D-Train. Let's see, I can do that, I can do this. I'm going to switch it over to that.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, hell yeah, that works.
First time using this app, huh?
It is, because I've got some interviews coming up, and the last ones I did for Inside the Creator Studio I wasn't happy with because using Skype, it kept on glitching, and some of it was just really hard on the eyes, and the audio would kind of be there, but then the video would just keep freezing. So I says, let me try this out. I've seen other people use it with a lot of success.
It's a cool app, but you got way more features when you pay for it.
True, and if I feel like I'm going to use it, like, there's other people, that use it a lot, like Blaze, for example. If I was going to do what Blaze does, then yeah, I would definitely be looking at doing something like that. But as I try to get myself centered on camera a little better, I don't see me having these like major party chats on a regular basis, and I'm not going to be interviewing people on a regular basis, maybe 2 times a month, 3 times a month.
Yeah, I hear you.
And it ain't cheap. It's like $20 a month or something like that. He said 25, but I thought here it said 20. So maybe
I thought it was 25 because this is the app this is the program I've been using for pretty much the entire year.
Oh, this is what you use also?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're happy with it?
Yeah, because you can, like I said, you can add a lot of different things, and if you're on your laptop, you can do certain things where you can have like a video actually playing on the screen as well.
Okay. And yeah, I see some options here on the side, which again, when you're not paying for it, you can use some of it a little bit and things like that.
When you pay for it, you can add cool banner, all kinds of overlay.
I just put a 30-second countdown by accident.
Yeah, no, they give you that for free. I've seen a lot of people use that, but you can always use your own too. So
now, can you change it though? It only shows 30 seconds. What if I wanted to do like a 2-minute countdown?
You could download one and do it.
Where would you, like a video of a 2-minute countdown?
Well, all you'd have to do is say, "Dude, I need a 2-minute countdown video." I could do one in like 10 seconds, no problem.
Right, but then I would have to like do a video clip upload, like what they have here. It says add video clip, so I just basically do an add video clip of a 2-minute countdown.
You'd have to pay to do stuff like that. Yeah, all the cool stuff. Yeah.
Oh, so wait a minute. Let me see something here. If I make my own video of a 2-minute countdown, it's letting me add a video clip if I want to. Wouldn't that work?
Okay.
I'll mess with that. I might mess with that and see. I mean, 30 seconds will work, I guess. I just generally find that when streaming, it takes about 2 minutes for a lobby to start to populate a little bit.
Yes, exactly. It's ironic that you did this. I just so happened to load up my PS4 like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, update 1.17. Like, what?
And then I don't see the chat anymore. What happened to that? Hold on.
How did I lose a match?
Oh, here we go. Now, right now, it's just you in the chat. I don't know if anyone else is out there typing away, but I'm not getting anything else. So if this is streaming on YouTube, which I guess I should verify that it is. It says it is.
I saw when you went live, it said...
Oh, it did show on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Like I said, first time, man.
Nothing in the comments, huh? Really?
Well, and that's not totally unusual. By the way, if anyone's out there watching, comment so I know it's working.
Well, here, I can leave something to... Oh, yeah, you have comments.
I only see you.
Got Mark says, I'm literally downloading 1.17 as I type this.
All right, so that's showing up on Facebook, but it's not, or on YouTube rather, but it's not showing up here. Am I doing something wrong? Oh, now it's there. Never mind. I was probably...
Yeah, I was going to say there's something you got to do. It's a little bit different, but yeah.
There's a top one up there. Got Mark, I got you. Jason, I got you. Welcome aboard, guys. And Mark, I just downloaded it myself too a minute ago. I didn't even know they were doing one. So apparently that was not a surprise. It was an announced thing earlier on.
Well, yeah, if I was smart, I would have just taken your link and opened it up in my browser. Then I would have saw the actual screen I'm used to see. And for me, I still have the Twitter open, so.
All good.
But it's all good. You're not missing anything, I don't think. Now, if I walk away, is it going to do something?
My channel. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Well, cool. First time ever using it. I'm already happy. Maybe I'll drop a few bucks. I mean, I don't care about their logos being there or not being there. It doesn't really affect me in any way. By the way, you're not running a camera right now, correct?
No.
Okay.
I was actually in the middle of uploading the game and eating dinner at the same time. So I was like, I don't think anyone wants to see me feedback.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something I didn't click on. That's all. I wasn't trying to cam block you. Infrared TV, what's up, buddy? There he is.
So at least you know it works. Yes, I'll turn it back in a couple minutes.
That's all good. Matter of fact, anyone who wants to jump in and join, because I'm trying to learn this thing, I can have up to 6 people, as I understand it, for free.
Yep.
Here is the link. Boom. Maybe. There it is. You can just connect with us there, and we'll add you to the conversation. So yeah, the 1.17, I was surprised. I was just going on to load up the game and look around a little bit, and all of a sudden I see it's updating, and I got excited.
Same here.
And then I did all the question or the search for the patch notes, and essentially the only thing they've even touched on, of course, is the stuff that can make them money, which is online play.
Oh.
So nothing big there. And I'd seen a quick video where it looked like they had the 4 horsewomen added. I was like, oh, cool. You know, I'd like to have the Old Bailey with the entrance with the little blow-up guys and the ponytail. That was always my favorite version of her.
Yeah.
And apparently not so much. What's the Status has uploaded them to Community Creations, but apparently nobody can really get them to work because it has some sort of a death message on it or what have you. So I guess they hunt down your children if you try to download it. I don't know, man.
Awesome. Cool.
It could be. It could be fun. Anyway, it says here, oh, and I can share my screen, can't I? Let me see. Slides, extra cam, video file, share screen.
I haven't looked at the download screen of characters for a while. If there's anybody new that's worth actually.
All right. So you guys can see my screen now. Is that right?
I can see you just fine.
No. Can you see my computer screen?
No.
No? It's not showing the patch notes?
I don't see you on my screen, no.
All right. Hold on a second. Hold on. That's on me, I'm sure. Entire screen window. Oh, I see. I have to make a choice.
Yeah, they have different layouts you can do, how you want to have people on camera and stuff like that. Like you could have yourself big.
I got it. How about now? Do you see my screen now?
Oh yeah, yep.
Oh yeah. So there's your patch notes for you. Added gameplay optimizations, fixed game freezing issues. Sure. Added performance improvements. So vague. Added fixes for various game crashes issues. Added general stability fixes. Addressed some glitches. I always love when they say that. Other minor bug fixes, my second favorite comment. And addressed directly none of them. Following changes were added previously. Addresses reported concerns of instability resulting from players applying 35 or more custom image renders to original superstars and create a superstar. First off, if you're applying 35 custom images to a created superstar, you're going to have a roster of 10.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That's insane. I mean, once you get past 6, it's overkill. All right. Improves a reported concern. A reported concern. That means it's happening, guys. That's why we report them. That online instability may occur when one or more users has empty custom portraits. Shouldn't be an issue. Apparently it was. Addresses a reported concern of an issue that may occur when players accept online game invites while 2K22 is in suspended state. I feel like it should always be in a suspended state because it ain't ready yet. So, from reading around what other people are saying and what other people have tried to say, hey, did they fix this? Did they fix this? Really, every complaint that we have had, the answer is nope.
Nope. You probably won't notice anything. It sounds like.
Yeah, so you still cannot. This is what I know you can't do. You can still not add custom tag team finishers in universe mode. That's been a little while now, and it wasn't there when the game launched. You could do it back then. As a matter of fact, if you have a custom tag team in universe mode that was set up prior to their patches, that should still have the custom tag team finish. You just can't add any now, and God forbid you take that team and mess with it in any way, it'll probably be gone as well. So that's a big one for me, that you can't have that. It's kind of whacking out.
That's something for 2K23 they need to do, where if you create a custom tag team not in the universe mode, you should be able to bring it to universe mode without having to reset all that stuff.
Thank you. I've only been saying that for 3 friggin' years now. Jay's joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Oh, literally the same as yesterday, since none of these patch notes mean shit to me.
Right. I read over them myself, and I'm going, so you guys did what, squat?
Again, they're trying to make sure the online presence is smooth, because that's where they can sell card packs and make their extra money, which is all they really give a shit about at the end of the day. Let's call it spade a spade.
Right.
So there's no money in universe mode, hence they haven't touched it. You've already bought the game, fuck you.
Right. Pretty much.
That's how I feel about it. That's why I can tell you right now, and I keep saying it, so I'll force myself into it, but next year I am not buying it until I see it. I'm going to wait a good month.
I don't even think I'll even bother with it next year. I mean, honestly, because I bought the NWO pack, so I spent what, $100 on it?
I'm with you.
And yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I'm cool.
Yeah, I believe me, I'm with you there, and it makes sense now why they did that, because they knew word was going to get out pretty quickly, and we got to get our main money up front, because as word of mouth expands and people realize there's a lot broken in this game, that you just came off of a game that was fucked up, they haven't learned. I mean, I get they're trying from scratch and they've got a whole new platform and they're building it from the ground up, and I appreciate that. And I get that you're going to take a little time to work some things out. But the fact that at this point in time, your universe mode is still as jacked up as it is, and they're simple things. I mean, these are things that were working when you released the game. How hard can it be to fix it? That's just my world. That's the way I look at it. I'm funny that way. When I spend $120 on a $60 game, I like it to work.
Well, yeah, and like you said, it's simple little things that a tweak here, a tweak there would make a world of difference. And it's like they're ignoring it.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that. They are ignoring it.
Well, what's the saying? You can't polish a turd. I guess that's kind of where we're at with this one.
Something about lipstick on a pig.
Right. It's still a pig.
At the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. So, I don't know.
It's a shame, too, because
it is.
Graphically, it's pretty good. Beyond that, it's kind of like, ooh.
You know, the funny thing is, though, as I'm looking at these custom creations, and some of them are truly really nice work, but then as I'm watching them more, the thumbnails, first off, are very not impressive. When you look at them without doing a rendered version, like if you just use the actual character for a thumbnail, they look soft as 2K20 ever did. And then in game, there's moments where they look pretty good, and other moments where it's like, this isn't so sharp. I mean, it's all right. It just, when you're in the suite itself looking at them, they look friggin' phenomenal, better than the in-game stuff sometimes.
Right.
But in gameplay, not as much impressed with the way it looks.
But if anyone that ever buys 2K games, especially the basketball, the 2K and basketball, they've had modes that don't work for years.
Right.
So it's
a 2K tradition.
It's not just for wrestling. They're bad for the basketball too.
Right. Yeah. No, they're equal opportunity offender.
Yep. I mean, it's only a mode or two, but some people, that's the mode they want to use, and you can't do it. So
it's a huge mode. And the fact is this: when they came out a couple of years ago saying, "All right, what's his name, Patrick somebody or other took over the game," and he's like, "I want to hear from you guys. What is it you most want about this next game coming out?" Which was this one, and it was GM mode back, I still don't understand the allure of that thing for that many people. I understand that it'll have a group that likes it and supports it, but the fact that it allegedly had the most votes, we've seen voting scenarios that didn't necessarily play out the way they probably should have. It wouldn't be too hard to rig one for this as well, because I'm thinking we can do one of these things. We can't do all this shit. So I don't know if they decided that was the one that they could tackle, and even then, what did they do? I mean, you could only defend one championship, and then they added a second one finally, but still no tag team titles. I don't get it. I mean, the fact that people want to worry about contracts and people being happy in a locker room, I guess what I came to is the conclusion: I don't want to be the owner of a wrestling promotion. I want to be the head booker.
Right. And that's why Universe is so important for me, is because that's what I like to do. I like to build my cards, see how they run, switch people around, make pay-per-views, and it's like, it aggravates me.
You and me both, man.
I'm just worried that they're going to get to the point where they realize people are really using Universe mode. They're like, oh, how can we do things to charge people more to do certain things in the Universe mode? I hope not, but
in all honesty, at this point, I might be open to such a thought if you're going to give me something
as long as
for
it
my
works,
money.
right? As long as it works.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fun. Look, one of the first games that I got into that wasn't sports oriented was The Last of Us, if you're familiar with it. And when you talk about microtransactions, if you're not familiar with it, it's a first-person shooter multiplayer game. Yep. Or at least this part of the game is. They have a standalone storyline, which is amazing. But the part that we're talking about for this purpose was the multiplayer first-person shooter, or third person. Let me get that right. You had plenty of weapons at your disposal for a loadout. But if you want, we have these weapons as well for $150. And it's not like, okay, these are going to be overpowered. If you don't buy them, you're going to be at a disadvantage. That's not the case. They gave you stuff that was perfectly fine. You'd match up evenly with anyone with any weapon. But these weapons do certain things. These other weapons do certain things. Just personal preference. And I'm like, $150? Sure. That ain't killing the bank. And you buy a couple this week, couple next week. And in a month's time, you got every damn weapon. And it didn't set you back with maybe $15-$20. I don't.
Well, not only that, I've got all this VM money that I can't do anything with because I bought the NWO, so it unlocked everything. Give me stuff I can use that to unlock.
Would be nice. Or hell, I got an idea. Let me have tag team finishers in Universe mode.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't get it. There's two things I don't understand because they're taking it on the chin. Yeah, they had a great launch because we didn't get to find out all that's wrong with it. And then as they patched it, they made it worse in so many ways. So they kind of beat the bullet there early on by getting this, A, 2-year starvation period that we were all waiting for something new. And B, the fact that the initial wow factor was pretty respectable. It is like, everything, even the title screens with the flames in the background, all that looked pretty cool. So even I remember I went back and actually looked at my day one videos. I was selling it cautiously optimistic, but I'm like, yeah, no, this is looking good. And it was until you played it. Walter Johnson, what's up, man?
It was nice while it was still in the package. But once you take it out, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's killing me. AWF us, hey, what's up, buddy? So we're just talking about the 2K 1.17 patch that really doesn't patch anything. Nothing that the average person gives a shit about. But I was starting to say is that, yes, GM mode, for whatever reason, came in at number 1. But Universe was a close second. So I think they ended up with like some astronomical percentage of the vote, like at 46% of the people wanted that. And then 40% wanted Universe mode, which didn't leave much for the other modes that nobody really gave a shit about. But when you're that close, and I say to myself, okay, at that point in time, what I would have done if I'm them is take all those other modes away that aren't in the race and then make it a head-to-head battle. Out of these two, which ones do you want? And I wonder how many of those lower tier votes that didn't go anywhere because they just had 5, 8, 9%, how many of those people then would have deflected to universe mode and pushed that over the top?
I think quite a few, because I know quite a few people myself that's what they play. They play universe mode, and
That's
it's
all I
like it's like I've tinkered with the GM mode, never completed one, but
Same.
for me, like I said, it's universe, and I'll mess around a little bit with my faction, but I could care less if that's there or not.
Yep. I agree.
If I want to
I mean-
collect cards, I'll collect cards.
Yeah, that whole card thing forever. It's like one of the reasons I used to. My gaming life was always NHL Live, NBA Live, and whatever WWE or any wrestling game was available.
Yep.
And that was all I ever bought. Every year I bought the NHL release. Every year I bought the NBA, and every so often I'd buy Madden. So it was always sports oriented. I never, again, until Last of Us with the PS4 console when they did the re-release, that was the first time I played a video game. And it kind of wrecked me after that because we couldn't stop playing that. But at this point in time, it's just like, I don't. The universe mode is so big to their franchise, but they treat it like it doesn't even exist. And I can't figure, there's no even communication about, guys, we hear what you're saying. We're trying to figure out how we can patch it. Be honest, say, listen, we know we can patch it, but then we're very sure that by patching this, it's going to crash that. And we're trying to find something in between where we can patch it without crashing it. So just bear with us. We're working on it. We're hearing, but they don't do that.
No.
They just pretend no one's complaining about it.
When that's all I see everywhere on YouTube, and everywhere is like, why won't my universe work? Tag team finishers. Give me tag team finishers.
Well,
Something.
give me that. The other thing I really thought when I started seeing this, it was a decent little download time too, the 1.17. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're finally going to listen and give us some of these characters that are in the My GM mode. So that
would have been nice.
Honestly, if you'd have given us the Godfather, Bailey, Becky Lynch, the old versions of them, all the stuff that's in the game, it's in the game. And if you would have put that out, which they kind of did in the beginning of the game a little bit, they did throw us a few bones back then. And they gave us the 2.0 NXT arena, which may be going away, going away in real life.
Thank God.
Yeah. I think I've been pretty vocal about my opinion of the Saturday morning Splash arena.
I can't even bring myself to using that arena. I just can't.
Well, I did use it for, if I do a Saturday morning program with 2K or with NXT, then that's the arena I will use strictly for that because it feels like it fits Saturday at 10 a.m.
So cartoonish.
It is. It is ridiculously cartoonish. And now I'm afraid, though, that by going back to the black and gold, it might not have the same work anymore. I feel like you've almost destroyed the brand at this point.
I don't think they'll ever go back to the black and gold, but if they can just, well, yeah, but I don't think they'll ever go back totally, maybe an attitude, but just kind of take away some of the colors, darken it a little bit, and you'll get that feel back.
You gonna darken the pinks and the blues? We want darker pink. It'll give it that I want to kick your ass mode. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the talent down there doesn't help much either. So,
well, I've got to be honest. I haven't watched a lot of NXT in the last. Well, I really stopped watching it as Bailey's class graduated, because at that time I was so into NXT. I thought that was the best product in wrestling. And then she got pulled up. Charlotte got pulled up. Prince Pretty got pulled up. I mean, it was like 7 people in one swoop. The Ascension got pulled up a little ahead of them and then they got squashed. Bailey's the only one, and the ladies, I should say, the ladies are the only ones that got a fair shake on the main roster.
Yeah, honestly.
And one of the things I'm hoping that Triple H in charge of is that he brings back the Ascension and lets them do what they did in NXT.
Maybe bring them back as a tag team as part of Judgment Day. They would fit in with that.
Ooh. Ooh. Damn.
Change your color.
Damn.
Yeah. Change your color scheme to black and purple. Make
Man, that
them
would
the
be
tag
fine.
team of the group. Yeah, make them the tag team of the group.
Oh,
I could see
shit.
that working so well.
Oh, I love that. I wish I had room to put two of them in my system. If I had two slots open, I'd be doing that shit. Damn, that is.
Well, I've been-
That's a great.
Well, see,
fit.
I've been-
That's a great fit.
Yeah, I found a couple renders of them that I like, and I've been toying with bringing them in, and that's who I was going to stick them with, and I just haven't pulled the gun on it yet. So
Well, like I said, I think that is a great call, and if they did that, it would definitely work. I think Triple H was a fan of theirs. I mean, he sure as hell was in NXT. I don't think they left
Yeah.
on that note. So, Got Mark says one thing the game has taught me is never buy the most expensive version again. Digital
amen to
Deluxe
that.
is all I'll be getting going forward. Well, Digital Deluxe was expensive, buddy. That was where I paid
Yeah.
120 for the NWO.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
I felt in the past though, when you bought those mega box sets, it looked like I don't know if it was a 2K20. I forget what the hell you got. Before that though, you had the Ric Flair Hall of Fame ring, which is actually a cool little ring, and a bunch of other trinkets. You had the pop Ric Flair figure, and then before that, you had the Finn Balor demon statuette. So they were
Yeah.
coming out with some stuff that was like a physical item, that a collectible item, things like that. So it kind of helped justify the increased cost. This year you got 4 digital characters and Eric Bischoff.
Which I use him only as a manager. That's it. I've yet to wrestle with him. So
Oh yeah, well, I mean, why would you?
And don't
I
forget,
mean-
we got one less character than advertised, and we got cards instead.
Yeah.
So
And all the more
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
they should have released some of these GM mode characters to us. Do something, and it's something simple. This is what I'm saying. It's what were the ones that they did release? They did at one point in time. Let me see here. Go through the list. I got it up. I don't think it'll go through. It's not going to be considered extra download. It's just something that they started. BG James, no, he was in the game, and they didn't release the older version of him, but there were a handful. The Alexa Bliss, okay, there you go. The old school Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
They released her.
Baron Corbin, they had King Corbin instead of Happy Corbin.
yeah,
You're right. That's right.
And
And
then
also
Nakamura.
King Booker. We got King Booker, which originally he wasn't.
Yep, the regular
Right.
Nakamura, not the King.
Anything else? No Undertakers because he already came with 25.
Yeah, because after that, I think just that Nakamura, I was the only one.
Yeah, that's right. Shinsuke Nakamura, which is a much better. I can stand the King thing. I'm not a fan. The only King that I can tolerate is Lawler. The rest of it is just too much.
Yeah, I think that was it. There might have been one more. I can't think of who though.
2K20 was the SmackDown Anniversary Edition Collector's Edition. SmackDown Anniversary. What came with that? I'm having a blank. I would have bought it. I'm one of those dumbasses that just says, "Here's my money."
Oh boy.
I don't remember what the hell came with the SmackDown Anniversary Edition.
And I guarantee you, our wish list for the next year's version won't be met at all. More characters to download, the creations, more slots for images, and if you're
Right,
gonna let us
right.
do custom renders, give us the slots available to do it.
I'm almost afraid of that too, though, because let's say they go up to 2,000 render slots.
I don't
You
know.
know, some creators out there are just going to go ham.
yeah, yeah.
Each character is going to have 50 images on them.
I know. I agree. Or at least at this point, have it if you make a creative wrestler that's already somehow in there that you have a render spot for that rendered picture.
Yeah.
So basically, add
Exactly.
another
Don't count it
100
against
then.
1,000 and all that because, yeah, like I said earlier on, that is 100 slots you're giving away.
Yeah.
I just don't see what for a startup screen that nobody even gives a shit about. It doesn't affect the gameplay. Doesn't affect the way the character model looks.
Mhm.
That was an easy decision for me, man. I've gone all these years without one. I'll just go another year without one. Stephen Ames says the free chords? Is that a typo, buddy? Or is that supposed to be cards? I think cards. What free cards? I don't remember this. 2K20. SmackDown Anniversary. Were there free cards? Did I not get the deluxe edition? Now I'm starting to question myself. Or did I just not get the cards? Or were they so shitty I forgot about them?
Sounds like it might have been the last part, maybe.
I agree as well. Yeah, the other thing I wonder now that I'm using the StreamYard thing is what the delay factor is. Like when I use OBS, it's 17 seconds of delay time. And I'm just
I think it's running about the same, because when I first came in, I still had my normal YouTube up and I could hear a delay. It was I'd say about 15 to 20 seconds.
Okay. That's good in case any of us decides to get topless and run around.
As you can see, I changed my shirt, so I just shut off the camera in the process. So.
There you go.
If you need more viewers, just let me know.
William, we are welcome aboard, buddy. We're getting a little silly at this point.
I don't know how that'll work.
We should bombard. We should get some really poorly judged pictures of ourselves and bombard them on the 2K platform. You want this to stop? We want a game that works. Let's see what we can do to meet in the middle.
Yeah, you don't want a Big Johnson like character coming out the screen dancing in a little fog and oil.
Oh, Infrared was talking about free cards for this this game after they took Nash Carter out. Yeah, we were trying to remember what the free stuff was for the 2K20 SmackDown edition. What extra crap did that come with? Because I can't remember any of it.
Yeah,
not a single bit. Which again tells me it probably wasn't all that.
It could have been too memorable.
Easily forgettable is, I think, the answer we're looking for here. I don't know. It is what it is. All right, let me take a look at this thing and see what other trouble I can get into here.
Well, one thing I will be curious, because remember they always had to. A lot of these characters had to be approved by Vince to be added to the game, right? Like some of the legends and stuff like that, even and certain ones. Now with Triple H in charge, should there be any limits on anybody being on the roster now for the game?
Oh yeah, and not only that, but in the real life too. We got Mark joining us here in this.
How you doing, guys? What's going on? Vince, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Look at that. Getting to put some faces and names together. Excellent. So
I'm enjoying the chat, guys.
Oh yeah, I'm having a good time with it too. Like I said, this might be bad for me because now I might be looking at the stream thing as a paid service. I got to figure out the budget on that.
I've had StreamYard before, and they're a great service, and you can really personalize it. I know that you're good with logos and creating your own, Photoshop stuff. You can really personalize it, and I think it would be worth it for you because you have the subscribers to maybe do that, because it's really good and it's easy. I'm sure you're learning that right now.
Yeah, it's actually moving a lot smoother than I was anticipating. I had an interview set up for this weekend, and I was just not comfortable yet because I hadn't done anything with it, and I didn't want it to get botched up. So I was like, let's wait till like another week goes by just so I can get my stuff together on my end better, so that hopefully it's going to be a smooth transition. But because I've done all these other ones where I pre-record them and then I release it, I really want to start doing it now where there's some live chat that we can go directly back and forth with whoever the guest is. So one of the guests is going to be the guy who, I don't want to say he created the game, but he's the guy who took the game that was created and put it into a computer format. And that's the one that I've been playing lately, which is the Superstar Pro Wrestling game. If you haven't seen that, it's the old board game from '85 that you can purchase through the magazines for about $20 in the day. And it's got a bunch of cards with wrestlers' names and stuff on them, and it has their stats based on their win-loss records and things like that. And you roll the dice, and it kind of walks you through the match, and it's been pretty cool.
I have
So,
liked how you've made it into like an old radio
I did that once.
version.
And
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm amazed. That got some of the best reaction. And when I started streaming that game day one, I was like, this is gonna go over like a fart in church. I said, it's not gonna fly. Everyone's used to having video games, and we're gonna be showing them a board game I said, this is not gonna happen. But I figured there might be some nostalgia like myself, because I remember I still have the game. It's right here, as a matter of fact. And I remember playing that thing for freaking years. I played that game over a decade, and had some amazing cards that took place over the years. And that game never glitched. That game never let us down. It worked every time.
Unless you got shitty dice rolls, possibly.
Well,
but,
yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
they didn't always run smoothly the way. Sometimes you get the same freaking offensive move 4 times in a row, and that's annoying as hell. But those other matches, though, where everything was moving smoothly, and it was like, oh, damn, it's a great match. And it's all playing out in the theater of your mind. And that's what made me think. Growing up, I didn't have cable early on as a kid, so when they would wrestle in Madison Square Garden, I had no way of seeing the broadcast. Once in a while, if you got the antenna in the right direction, you might pick it up, but it was pretty crappy. Then eventually friends of mine had it, so I'd go over their house and watch it and whatever. But I always thought we could listen to the Islander games on the radio, Yankee games on the radio, everything else on the radio, but not wrestling. Couldn't figure out why. So I'm thinking, yeah, well, that would be the way this game could work in a more dramatic way, is to have some sound effects in there and put a crowd noise in the background and just call the action. So surprisingly, that one that I did with the Madison Square Garden show recently, it's like 500 views already in less than 2 days. And I was like, really? Guess we'll be doing more
Because
of that.
Yeah, because it's something that's not out there. A lot of people aren't, it's new to them because they are younger. They're not older like we are, where we do remember those things, like being on the radio and just being able to hear it and having to imagine the match as it goes and not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, I think all the times that I watched an Islander game on the radio, it's like we didn't have, again, the cable, so we weren't watching Sports Channel at the time, but you'd hear it on the radio and you visualized it. The way these guys call it, coming up the left wing, passes the center, gets it back to the point, shot from the point, and you already saw it happening in your mind. Then you'd watch the news later, see the highlights, and it's like, man, that's pretty much what I had in my mind.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it's popular. We'll keep doing it till it's not. Oh, man.
Doesn't crash on you, does it?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's reliable. The game has never crashed so far as even the PC version of it. But yeah, like I said, I've been in touch with the guy who took it, and I didn't think a whole lot of it in the beginning. I mean, it's like, yeah, he had more talent than I did. I'm sure somebody's trying to sell me car insurance. Thank you.
Vince, I think the real question is, and Jay and I want to know this because I can see that Jay has some vinyl in the background. I have some vinyl in the background as well. Did you buy the Michael Hayes vinyl with the wrestling game back in the day?
This wrestling game came with a Michael PSAs.
Do you remember the old After magazines? You would see the wrestling board game in the magazine, and then the very next page you would see the Michael P.S. Hayes. He'd be laying down naked with like a flag over his crotch, and you could buy the Bad Street album.
This might come as a complete shock to you, but now when you start to see that, I flip the page right away.
I remember. Actually, I remember that ad. I really do. I just never bought it.
Yeah, I was afraid he'd lift up the flag to give me the thing. Like, no. Okay. And back then, again, I'm living in New York, so I knew of Michael Hayes because the Freebirds did a real short stint in WWF for a cup of coffee.
They wrestled at the Spectrum, yeah, in Philadelphia.
Yeah, they were there for like literally 2 months tops.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a show at the Garden. They did a Saturday morning show. And I guess the Spectrum, maybe Boston. But that was it. I forget. And there's a reason why it didn't last. And I know it was covered in...
Andre the Giant didn't like him for some reason.
Yeah, but he ain't got to wrestle him.
Well, yeah, but at that point...
I don't know. A 3-on-1 would have been interesting.
Oh, they ain't gonna do the job to Andre. They were too big a name.
You know, if Andre didn't like somebody, that was it at that time. So,
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Anytime you're gonna let one guy dictate your locker room, I think you have a problem. CM Punk.
CM Punk.
That's a work, guys. That's a work.
Do you think?
I'm
No.
hoping it is, because if it's not,
I mean,
Tony Khan
I'm
has
hearing-
problems.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm hearing both. So
What do you think?
I
knowing
think Punk's a dick. In real, I think we know that, and I
Yeah.
love Punk. He's my favorite current wrestler right now.
Really?
But we've seen it before, and
yeah,
to me, if it's not a work, then it's really messed up, and Tony Khan has a lot of trouble on his hands.
Well, I hear he
And-
has a lot of
and-
trouble.
and
on his
if-
hands.
trouble.
A lot of people are not happy with creative there.
No,
You have
I
a
mean,
bloated roster. You have too
Yeah.
much talent that's not
Exactly.
being used.
you just said exactly what I was thinking, and people have been talking about this for a long time. You keep signing all this talent, they're going to want TV time.
right.
And now they're talking about another program. We don't need 7 days of wrestling. We need maximum of 2 days of any promotion with quality programming.
Yeah.
And for me, the only one that gives that to me is Impact. That's it. There's nobody else that makes me watch their show. Last night's Raw, I fast forwarded at least 80% of it. Because
Really?
because there's nothing I haven't seen already or don't know the outcome to. I knew Dolph Ziggler was going to lose. Why am I going to watch it? Because he's the best talent they've had for the last decade, and they've buried him. He's the best on the mic. He's the best in the ring. He is just the best, and they've done nothing with him except job him out, and he takes the paycheck. He gets to do his comedy. He's okay with it, and I'm not faulting him for it. Hey, you can get paid that kind of money, and if you're okay with it, and I get, he'll tell you straight out. He's had many of his own little podcasts where he's like, guys, I'm playing a role. They tell me to stop, and I lose. I stop, and I lose. That's the way it works. You're supposed to be rewarded for being the best at what you do in wrestling. You don't win a championship, but you do. It's a recognition that you are the guy busting his ass. You are the guy making it look real. You're the guy making other people look good at your expense sometimes. There's a reward for that. You think Mick Foley's a great wrestler? He's shit. But he fell off the top of a fucking cage, got back up, did it again, got back up, and finished the match on a pay-per-view. Give him the damn belt. He earned it.
I know I haven't watched WWE probably in like 6 years, but once I heard Triple H took back over, I have started watching it, and I know it's still, they're trying to work out the storylines and finish off what Vince and Bruce had there.
Mhm.
Now we get to Clash at the Castle. That'll be Vince or Triple H's very first pay-per-view all on his own. And I think from there, we'll see some stuff start to really change.
I hope you're right. And there are changes, but even last night's edition of Raw, it starts out where they're brawling in the back already. Well, that's the second time in a month they've started the show that way.
Yeah.
It's a little early on to be repeating and rinse and repeat. That will be no better than when you start out every Raw with someone in the ring talking, for someone else to come down and interrupt that interview, to then challenge him to a match, to have a GM walk out and say, this is the match we're going to have, and you're going to have it right here tonight. How many? It's like, I can't. I just can't anymore. There's no originality. And as somebody that we all know likes to say, lazy booking. And
And then you flip the channel and you have a headlock and someone blades, during a headlock.
I'd hit you right now, but I don't want you
Yeah.
to bleed all over me. I'll tell you what, if that wasn't a shoot, that's unfortunate because it should have been. That whole everything from saying, hey, next time the apology needs to be as loud and public as the offense, to everything. He's not even the best guy he's the third best guy on his team, and that's his career path. I'm like, oh, and then he's coming out and says, I got some time. I'm going to do some snow angels.
I love him. I'm so glad he's back.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this isn't a shoot. and I don't think it is.
Oh, I hope
But
it is.
let me ask you guys a question. Why are they having this match tomorrow night instead of All Out?
Because if I'm Tony Khan, if the rumors are true, what if Punk does decide to leave?
That's one way of looking at it. Now the other
You
side
know,
of
now
the
you're gonna
coin.
be on their biggest pay-per-view of the year, supposedly, and you're not gonna have your champion unless they're gonna do something really screwy. I know, but
Well, let's ask this question. This match takes place when?
tomorrow night,
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming on. So, match. What do you think their ratings are going to do tomorrow?
They might crack 1 million.
If they don't-
And that's,
Well, if they
It's not
don't, we got a
enough.
freaking problem.
Maybe.
Hey, they'd have a huge problem if they can't have a championship unification match draw 1 million. So, while the pay-per-view does Tony Khan good and his bank good, he's got an obligation to these networks to produce. And
Yep.
lately, he's not producing like he was.
Nope.
So he has to put these kind of matches on to get the eyes back on the TV show. That doesn't mean there has to be a winner tomorrow night.
I hope not.
True.
Something really, off the wall could happen, and it could be something good enough to set up that pay-per-view to mean more.
well,
MJF.
well,
You know what? We're
There's
going to
only
know
one-
if it was a shoot or not tomorrow. Because if either of them drops the title, especially Punk, if Punk drops the title, it was a shoot. And he said, fuck you, I'm out of here. But he was like singing Tony's praises for the longest time about how when the Dark Order leader, what's his name, drawing a blank right now, that got sick and died.
oh, Brody Lee.
Brody
Lee.
Yeah, that, no, he did such a great job. The locker room did such a great job of not letting it out there to people and until it passed. And he says that's just unheard of in this business. And he just loved on this guy so much. It was enough for him to come out of retirement when he swore he'd never get back in a wrestling ring again, all that stuff. And now it's like the MJF thing. If we presume it's a work, which you kind of have to believe it's a work, they still screwed the pooch with it. How long
Yep.
has he been gone?
Too long because nobody cares about him anymore.
That's the
Months,
point.
yeah.
The only way for him to be impactful again is to show up in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing he can do at this point. He can show up at this pay-per-view. It's not going to matter anymore. They've blown it. They took the golden goose and wrung his neck. Infrared thinks that MJF is returning tomorrow.
It's a
As we
possibility.
talked about.
But see, they're very good for not usually having a non-finish.
Yeah, but that's why it could work for them
Yeah.
because they don't really do that. And that would
At
be
least this once,
acceptable. You want people to shell out $50 for a pay-per-view in 2 weeks. I would accept that as a fan, you know?
You know, I'm with you on that, especially if they don't do it. If they do it very sparingly, it's more meaningful in that way. I agree. But
I'm
I can
just-
tell you this much from personal experience. Somebody who I know, who is a former wrestler, used to wrestle on the indies with CM Punk, and said this has been CM Punk since
I've heard
even
that.
before Ring of Honor. He's always been kind of this way. So that's nothing new. But
Are you guys on Twitter at all?
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a post by Dax Harwood where I guess Punk was posing next to him,
oh,
and
yeah.
Dax said, "Oh,
Yeah.
he looks very unhappy too." So again, I think it's all work, but I think, like Vince said, we'll find out for sure tomorrow night.
The winner
Well-
tomorrow night, if there is a winner. We'll
But it's
answer a
always
lot of
good
questions.
too when they do shoots, and there is some realism to it, because then it does give, like we're talking now, like, is it real? Is it this? Is it that? You know, like there's some reality to some of this, obviously, no doubt. You know, but
Well, the last time I was this invested in the storyline was in January when Cody came out with a microphone, and then he was gone. So-
How about that?
yes,
The other thing that keeps going through my mind and my memory is that way back in the day when Moxley was Dean Ambrose in FCW before they became NXT,
yeah,
one of their last cards, like maybe with 2 to 3 months left in them being FCW, they'd already announced that brand was closing
yeah. He wrestled Punk, right?
in Kissimmee, right here by me.
Yep.
Actually, the place I now work at. And Punk handpicked him as his opponent that night, and at the end of the match, took the microphone, addressed the crowd and Moxley, and said, "I hope you remember this opportunity 10 years from now and give it to some young up-and-coming talent the same way I did to you." And I'm surprised he hasn't even touched on that, because it's not like they're afraid to mention the WWE. And I just feel like that would be, again, whether it's a shoot, whether it's a work, I still think using that or going back to that point, there's going to be a lot of fans that will remember it, and the ones that don't are going to go to YouTube and see it. But that has been ringing in my head since these two guys have been on the collision course. Even while Punk was out with the injury, they hadn't even had any issues yet. And then Moxley wins the interim. Well, you know what that means. And that was the first thought in my head, was the fact that Punk had given him a big opportunity when he didn't have to, in a place that sat 2,000 to 3,000 people.
So that's not the match where Punk cracked himself.
I don't think so, no. As a matter of fact, what I can remember about it was that Dustin, and Cody wrestled together in a 6-man match. That would have probably been Dusty's last in-ring match. Didn't do much in a 6-man match. He tagged in, did a couple of things, probably dropped a big elbow, I think, once or twice. But just to have the whole family in a ring together, that's probably on YouTube somewhere, I would think. It was.
I'll have to go find it, because I need to see that now.
Yeah. I know there were clips of it. I don't know if the whole match is up, but I definitely remember at the time, because I didn't get to go to the show live, which, again, you'll probably find that CM Punk thing there. That's probably where I saw it.
Well, something else I just thought. Usually the AEW title reigns last at least a good 6 months. Punk really hasn't even had his reign.
He hasn't had a match.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it makes me start to think he's not losing. But if he does lose, then maybe he is on his way out.
And I don't. He never liked Triple H, but he might like what's happening over there. And let's be honest, they can pay him a lot more money. Well, I think Tony can pay him a lot more money. I don't know that he is. And I don't know that Punk is worth what he thinks he's worth.
Fair point.
At this point in his career, I mean, just keep on showing that gray, man. Nothing puts asses in the seats like an old man. At this rate, I should be getting viewership by the thousands. Yeah, well, I mean, this is mostly die. I don't mind getting older, but I am going to fight that fucker all the way. As I know we all come with a finite number of days in our lives. I just don't want to look like it. Let me look like I did when I was 25.
And I think we're going to find out tomorrow night.
We are going to find out tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Question is, what are we going to find out tomorrow night?
It's a work. It has to be. It has to be. I will be shocked if it's not. I'm going to cry. You're going to see a 45-year-old cry.
Well, there was a 45-year-old guy crying when Punk made his return.
That wasn't me.
Yeah.
That wasn't me.
It wasn't you. He got bashed on the internet for it, too. Boy, oh boy, you catch a foul ball. Next thing you know, the whole city of Chicago wants to kill you.
But Tony Khan does have some work to do. He still has an ROH company that he isn't really doing anything really with.
He can't get a TV deal, and that goes back to tomorrow's paper or main event, is the fact that he needs numbers to go up so he can make a strong enough argument that he'll get his program on TV somewhere, which right now, I don't get it. It's like, dude, take Dark off of YouTube and put ROH on.
Yep.
Who's watching Dark?
Or just rebrand Dark ROH.
Yeah. Well, I look at it this way. The ROH roster that I know of is better than what's on Dark.
True.
Dark are people that aren't even NXT, really, for the most part. They might never be on the main roster. Some of them probably shouldn't be on Dark. We'll see, but yeah, they need to get ROH a program, and I think put it on YouTube is fine. There's no reason.
Hard to let it grow, and go from there. So at least you have something.
Or even
I
do a
was so
cheap
excited their
subscription
last pay per
service.
view when what's his name came back? Brian Cage
Yeah.
came back, and
He
was
came
managed
back
by
to
Tully
ROH.
Blanchard.
When have you seen him though? Well, Tully Blanchard
Not
left.
since.
Yeah.
So he's gone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he said bye,
Yeah.
which sucks because I mean, in mind, if I ever get back to it, I got all kinds of stuff around Tully Blanchard. I mean, that was a gold mine of storylines.
Hmm.
And I said, well, I ain't getting rid of him. He's staying in mine unless he shows up in the East somewhere. He's a free agent. I can keep him. Tom Watts in the house. Every update is terrifying. Tom, you just won the award for the best comment of the night.
But I mean, and and then you look. I mean, Omega's back, so that's another guy that's not going to get as much TV time. I mean, it's great that he has all this talent. It's really good, but to squeeze it all into a 2-hour show, it's almost like WCW in a way, but different. Like, I mean, WWE, what do they do? They're getting all WWE guys. Kind of the same thing here, but at least they're different wrestlers.
Well, here's the crap situation is that they all got hurt at once. Danielson was out
Yeah.
with concussion. Cole, the Undisputed Elite, they were all out at once. Punk was out.
Yeah.
And they didn't bring these guys back. Like, you didn't see the top stars kind of take their place. Now, they did do a decent job of pushing Jungle Boy and Christian. That's a great feud that, has been
It's watchable.
interested. But they haven't really, the top tier talent did not fill in admirably when all that other talent was out injured.
Yeah.
I can argue with that.
And then MJF has been nowhere around. Omega was out all that time. I mean, they had a lot of star power. Too.
I'm with Vince. I think MJF attacks Cody on the way to the ring at the Royal Rumble. That's what's going to happen.
I don't know that you could possibly, or better yet, he comes in at number 30 and eliminates Cody. You want to see the internet explode?
Well, if there's
Oh my God.
WWE that would open a forbidden door between the companies, it would be Triple H.
True.
He would be the only one. If he seems smart enough for that, but I don't know if he'll do it.
Well, you got to remember, it's not just his decision. This is a publicly traded company. He'd have to get through a lot of people to make that happen.
True, and you still got somebody that owns a majority shares.
But at the end of the day, it is about making money for the shareholders. And you can't tell me they would have a pay-per-view that would draw more money. The biggest mistake they made in the Monday Night Wars was shutting down WCW.
Yep.
They should have kept it. They should have let Shane run it.
Oh yeah.
And, our TBS was dropping them or TNT was dropping them. You'll find another network, the WW friggin' E. Let them come and take over SmackDown, kick SmackDown off the air. You don't want to go head to head like you did on the Monday nights. But if you'd have kept the WCW roster for a year, and then you can phase out the guys you don't like so much or whatever and bring yours in, and by that time it'll all work together. I just think that was the way to go, and didn't happen that way. What do I know, right?
And Shane seemed pretty smart. Remember when he was the one that wanted to bring ECW back, and he wanted it to be a internet show, so it could have stayed legit ECW. But then, nope. Vince is like, oh, maybe we could do something with this. And
Yeah, but we did get
Yeah,
the
we saw how that
WWE
turned out.
ECW. Yeah, the WWE ECW.
Yeah, zombies.
There you go. That's thinking outside the box. Strippers on a pole match.
and who taught
Better
her?
than Judy
Vampire.
Bagwell in the pole match.
Vince McMahon.
Oh,
I've heard that from, I think Bruce Pritchard had said that. They went in an office. I think she might have been one of the. Can't confirm. But
I got a funny feeling that'll all be confirmed.
I don't want to get I don't want to get your show shut down. But if what I've heard is true from some people in the wrestling behind the scenes, he was good for being around, so to speak, Melina territory.
Yeah, yeah.
But I heard Vince was the one that taught her how to dance. She had no idea how to dance.
Well, I've seen some video that they've shown that was never released, in the warm-ups before the doors open to the public and all that, where they go over stuff. And he was showing the Lex Luger biography thing there. He was showing Luger how to do the posing in front of the mirrors for WrestleMania. and the girls were there holding up the thing, hold my higher, do this. But he'd also showed, I forget which female it was, and it was at a different point in time. The clip that I saw, how to move sexy, and it's like awkward watching this guy, even in his 40s or whatever he was at that time, trying to do this female sexy move, and it's like, oh god. Even when I see her do it now, I'm only going to envision you, Vince. So you've ruined this. There's a reason this was not shown. It's like, I don't know. It's like this bizarre world we're living in now, where, at least with Sunny Kiss and I always forget the other one's name. AEW, the big guy girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel better. It's not just me.
Wait, who are we looking?
She's a former champion. I can't think of her name.
Yeah, for a hot minute.
Oh,
The
God.
she.
Nyla Rose.
Nyla
Who?
Rose. Thank you.
Nyla Rose, thank you. So you got Nyla Rose, you got the other dude, Sunny Kiss. But they're gay, and I don't care. I mean, shit, back in the 70s and 80s, half of them turned out they were gay. We just didn't know any different. That I don't give a shit about. What I care about is when you get one past me and I didn't know, because now it's false advertising. Giselle Shaw. Anyone know Giselle Shaw on Impact?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She's been around for the last several months, whatever. And I'm like, man, she's a good-looking girl. Joke's on me.
You didn't know, huh?
Not until recently, and I'm really pissed about that. I feel like that's very misleading. And there was a movie years ago. What the hell was the name of that movie? Crying Game. I don't know if anyone remembers. It was a pretty rough
Forrest
movie.
Whitaker.
Yes, that's it. That is it. And this whole time he's with this girl during, like, I don't know if it was Vietnam War or whatever war it was that he was kind of overseas and stationed there and going through rough times or whatever. And get down to the part in the movie where they're starting to get to know each other a little better, and all of a sudden, hey, I got one of those too. That ain't the way to find out.
Oh God, it reminds me of one of the Crocodile Dundee movies when he
Yes.
was in New York, and
Yeah,
then
the first one.
and he put his hand underneath it. It's like, oh,
And I tell that to people all the time. It's like, you got to do the Dundee test, man. But it's sad. It's like, look, I don't care if you want to do this and you want to wrestle in the women's division or whatever. I mean, it's up to them, the promoters, to decide that what they're going to allow. I still say that it's a guy taking a job from a female, but the other side of the aisle has no problem with that. They'll tell Tom Hanks that he can't play a gay guy ever again, even though he won an Academy Award for it, because only a gay guy can play a gay guy. But it's all right for women or men to wrestle as women. I don't know. I just feel like there is a qualified female wrestler out there that's not on a roster, or two in this case on the AEW side. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But I do think you should have some form of truth in advertising. So whether that means you got to wear a bracelet so we know, okay, you're on that team. Just saying, man, because if I buy you drinks, you better have told me up front so I don't buy you drinks. Don't make me invest. That's all I'm
With
saying.
no payout.
There wouldn't be a payout. That ain't joke's on you. What was that? I think it was the, not the dating game. Gosh, dang it. The one with Bob Barker. The Price is Right. You got the whammy. A plunket that plunks the wrong way. Infrared's asking, would UPN have been cool with SmackDown being rebranded as WCW Nitro? Hell yeah.
They were doing great ratings back then. It didn't matter.
yeah.
Well, WCW was not doing great ratings
No,
at the end.
WWE was.
Yes.
So
By bringing them on and having this new platform with new ownership, just like you guys were saying earlier, Triple H being back, all of a sudden now we're watching it again. Because you want to see, what is this going to do? Is it going to improve? Is it going to be something fresh? Is it something now? Because the reason I stopped watching is it was the same shit, different day.
mhm.
It was Groundhog Day. Sonny and Cher every morning, 6:05. So we got past that now. Now we're seeing the show open up with two guys brawling already before we've even seen the ringside announce team. Don't keep doing that anymore. I shouldn't see that for 6 months.
Although I did have to say, I did like the fact of Dexter Lumis dragging Miz off into God knows where from the match. So
I've been trying to catch up a little bit on his act in NXT because I didn't see any of it. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I get that he's like a psychopath that doesn't talk. I don't know how you make not talking work on the main roster.
Yeah, not without a manager.
But you're a psychopath. You wouldn't have a manager.
True.
The sociopath, no less. So you definitely wouldn't have a manager. So how does that work?
He has good facials, though. So
Yeah, he's got great
Yeah.
facial,
Yeah.
good look, all that. And he could probably cut a promo, but who would know? He better be able to cut a promo. He better be able to cut a promo.
Well, I don't know if they're going to start a faction or something with him. Maybe they might have a mouthpiece. I don't think it'll be him. Because who was that other guy last night?
oh yeah, no one's been able to figure out who the other guy in the black hood
Everyone
was.
thought that was Escobar, but it didn't look like Escobar to me.
No,
Yeah.
no, I didn't think so.
I didn't see as much of that. Like, I did see him pull him away, but again, I was fast forwarding a lot. So when I saw that, I stopped and went back, but I might not have gone back fast enough. So I didn't see any other person. I only knew of one.
And is this all tied into like the car accident and the other
Yes.
stuff that's going on? Yeah, okay. I mean, that's kind of interesting. It's different. I'll give them credit for being different. They have not been different for a very long
Exactly.
time. They've been very bland and boring. So
Yep.
at least people are talking about it in a better way. I'll give them credit for that.
Even what they did with Dolph last night, and I get what they were trying to do, it just failed, is, you know, when he had that little quick promo backstage and he's heading out the door after he pushed him on his ass. You gonna get off your ass? You're gonna stay back here like a bitch. Okay, he said bitch on TV. Congratulations, you're PG. Or PG-14, I beg your pardon. It didn't translate into any heat. Like, you didn't feel, like, you knew that was just a scripted, even if it wasn't scripted, you just knew it was an act. There was no heat drawn from it. There was no back and forth, and that just, it kills me that I thought with Triple H there, we're going to finally start seeing some guys get the rub they deserve to have had. The way Cesaro left, and you know Triple H is upset about that. But the guy, how long is he going to spin his wheels? There was only one time that I can recall, and that was like 6 years ago, where they almost looked like they were going to push him and give him a title run. And then they just shit the bed.
The problem with Ziggler is he's been buried for so long, it's going to take him some time to get him back to where he needs to be.
And that's
When do
his
you
problem.
start? When do you start? Last night would have been good.
Well, that's their problem too. You saw like a couple weeks ago when they put Ali and Cedric Alexander together as a team or something. Like the fans just didn't care, and it's like they've been buried for so long. It's like now you got to do something to try to get these guys established because nobody's going to believe these guys beating anybody.
Right.
They've just been squashed and squashed. So all these guys that Triple H likes that have been squashed, he's got to really try to build up. I mean, that's
As soon
gonna
as
be a
I saw
process.
Finn Balor going up against Dolph Ziggler, it's like, okay, well, do we think for a minute Finn Balor's going to lose this match when he's got this faction that's just kind of getting its traction going? You're not going to have him lose. I was slightly amazed that Damian lost, but it is Toronto. It is Edge's return to Toronto. Might be his last time in Toronto. Who knows? And he got crushed right afterwards, so they kind of got their heat back at least. Did you guys see the video? And I don't think it was on the live TV. I didn't notice it. With Ronda taking out some security guys. I think it was during the commercial break. Did you guys see this? And then her husband
I
got
saw
back.
bits of it, yeah.
Yeah, you need to check out the video. So she's like going ringside after I think they cut the commercial. And she gives her husband a kiss. He's in the front row. And then one of the security dudes comes up and grabs her by the arm. She turns around and lays him out and starts wailing away on him, wailing away. Another security comes from behind and like waist locks her off the guy. And as he's waist locking her, off, he's got his back to her husband. Probably not a good idea. So then he turns the dude around and drills him with a right hand down. And there's Ronda with her back to the rail, with her husband right on the other side having her back. And she's like, come on, you bitches. Who wants one neck? I'll kick all of you. And I'm like, hello?
Now, why couldn't that have been on TV?
Was it?
No, I said that should have been on TV.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, geez Louise, the best part of the freaking show, and you didn't have it. This is what I'm talking about. Get your shit together. Infrared is saying Loomis is no different than he was in Impact. I didn't watch him in Impact. At that time, I wasn't watching Impact, so I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and watch some of that stuff, too, though.
Yeah, who was he stalking back in the day? Was it Christy Hemme? He was a stalker or something for Christy Hemme?
Yeah.
That's my job. Double C in the house. What's up, buddy?
I don't know.
He thinks Raw is getting better every week. Double C says.
It's more tolerable to actually watch.
It is.
I agree. It could be a lot
And
better,
it will
of course,
take-
no doubt.
They are having more wrestling now than they did before. I mean, the first hour was 2 matches. It was like a 20-minute match and then another 20-minute match and 10 minutes of promo. I can deal with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't mind promo if you're doing it good. I mean, I'll listen to CM Punk for a half hour. But there are not that many CM Punks. Wrestling Purist 97. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, that's going to be very, very, very intriguing tomorrow, what's really going to happen. But you know what? This is the fun part about wrestling. You're invested in it. You want to see what's happening. It's not like old Raw shows where it's like, and it's like a pain in the ass to watch. You actually are invested because it's like, what is going to happen? You know, like, is this a shoot? Is it a work? Is Punk going to say, screw you? Is he even going to show up?
Yeah. I think my problem with AEW right now is I do feel like they're the new old WWE. And I got nothing against Sheamus. How many years has he been on the roster? 20?
Oh God.
Yes,
More.
Yeah.
ECW basically came
Yeah,
around.
that's it.
Yeah, he was FCW. He started Florida Championship Wrestling.
Yep.
I don't think he ever did NXT, but he was Florida Championship Wrestling. So, yeah, he wasn't even around for NXT before he came up to the main roster.
Yep, exactly.
How can you book this guy at this point in time in a match that anyone gives a shit about? He's 30 years in the company. There's nothing left for him to do. Every time
He is
he's
going to
on,
put Walter over, though.
does it matter?
Vince, I hear what you're saying, but then look at Randy Orton. He's like he's out injured right now.
He's Randy Orton.
Yeah, but
He's Randy Orton.
yeah, I hear you, but what I'm trying to say is that you can reinvent yourself. Okay, earlier you talked about Dolph. I
Yeah.
don't see Dolph ever rebounding. I'm sorry. He's a great worker.
Yeah.
It won't be for his fault. It
won't.
won't be anything he did wrong, though. He's not rebounding
no.
because they're not giving him the springboard.
Right.
But
But
could
with-
he be? Easily
With
he could
Sheamus, they never really booked him poorly. They just
He's
rambled on. It was boring. It was Vince was in charge, but it wasn't really. It
I don't
wasn't
think he's
bad,
exciting.
but it wasn't good. So he's a little bit more believable, I think. Just my opinion.
be. Yeah, no, and I get that. To me, I think we just lost someone. We did. He'll be back. I just feel like he's not acting so much. I mean, he's a certain type of guy, and I'm sure he's a blast to hang out and have beers with. But you look at this now, I mean, how many fetas are you going to go through and all that stuff, and who's wearing a stupid little ball cap this week? And it's just, I feel like he's always been the Irish kick-ass, badass guy. And he is. I mean, if I'm getting into a fight, I want him in my corner. Hell yeah. Matter of fact, you step out front, I'll be back here and make sure everything's cool. But at the same time, from a wrestling, imagine Sheamus shows up in AEW tomorrow. Is he a new guy all of a sudden?
No,
You don't think?
no, I don't. Well,
See, I
he would
do,
be
'cause-
wasted in AEW like everyone else is wasted in AEW right now.
Yeah,
He'd have a 2-month.
I don't
He'd get that
I don't think
2-month
they would
run.
know what to do with him.
They don't know what to do with anyone they got. What's
No.
that going to stop, man? He's got money. Don't let facts get in the way of a good story. Wrestling Purist says, quick shout out to Gotmark76. I love the retro wrestling series.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm no Vince McSham, but I have fun doing it. You know, it's fun stuff to be
That's
your own
to say,
booker
I
and
enjoy
do the
checking out your
commentary.
stuff. I enjoy checking out your stuff.
Well, thank you.
man.
I appreciate that. So I praise.
Brings back memories of the days of better. Oh Lord, back when wrestling was wrestling. It was real, damn it.
It was to me.
Yeah,
Prime time. We got a lot of prime time guys here. This one's prime time 210237. Is that your prison uniform number? What's up with that? Just kidding. Unless it really is, in which case, hey, that's cool. This week, 1990 was an awesome Gottmark episode.
Oh my god. I didn't pay these guys to say this, Vince. I'm sorry, but
okay,
thank you.
man.
I appreciate the compliment.
It's a love fest going on. That's all right. We got to have something to cushion the blow for the 2K17 or 2K22 1.17.
Vince, I just want to say it to you because this is the first time I've had the pleasure of talking to you.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Well, why? Why with the promos? Why have they taken this away? And what is with the video editing in 2K22? It is making my job as a creator so much more difficult to have to go back to 19
Yeah.
to record and
Yeah.
paste and.
I'm doing the same thing, brother. I feel you.
Yeah.
And 2K19 and even 20, I'm using for promo purposes, depending on which rosters, I need people from. But yeah, I've got to cut an entire promo there, record it, save it. Good thing with OBS is I can just have it as a file and shoot over to it, so it's not all that hard. And I guess the better thing is if I don't like the way a promo goes, I can reshoot it as opposed to when I was doing them live. But I kind of like the challenge of doing live promos, especially when I'm doing both sides of it. Yeah, you just never know. Even though you kind of know how many back and forth moments you get, you don't always get the same one. Sometimes it works out a little differently. So you got to speed up your tempo or make sure you get your shit in, but still have time to have you go home. So I kind of enjoyed doing it that way. My biggest, the fact that they took promos out, I think is huge, stupid. But let's get past that. You could go to create a scene mode, right? And they got all the pieces there that you could have put a promo scene together the way you want. It would be a little time consuming, but it's doable. Here's the problem. Go back to 20, 19, 18. When you do a video clip like that, you can then preview it on full screen, which is what you'd
Right.
want to record. You can't
Never
do that with
record it.
22. It will always be a small screen, like we have the 3 up here now, be about the same size as one of those panels. So now what you'd have to do is record that. Then if you bring it into an editing, which I
Blow it
have one that I use, you got to blow it up, and now it's grainy as hell.
Yep,
It just
yep.
looks like shit. So the only way to get a clear one is to go to 20 and 19.
Yeah.
Couldn't even do
I'm
preview.
So, I'm so glad to hear you say this because I literally just did it for the show I'm going to air next week, and I did it with Dusty Rhodes, and I'm like, it looks like crap, but like the creations this year. By the way, let's just I know that you give praise on your show a lot.
Yeah.
The creations have been amazing for 2K22.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go back to 19 and use the in-game Dusty because I found a Dusty in 2K22 that's amazing. So it's like, okay, I tried it, and it is grainy as shit, but I was like, okay, we'll give it a shot. But it's horrible. It's horrible.
I feel like the game is now this. 2K releases something. I dare you to make this look good. I fucking dare you to make this look like it's not a pile of shit. And then you blow it up in his grain. He's I told you couldn't do it. Prime
Well, I
Time
touched
says,
upon
no,
it
it's the
earlier.
real me. Prime Time says, it's the real me, the 7-Eleven guy. There you go.
I touched upon it earlier before I joined your chat, is that I'm not going to buy the NWO version or whatever the top tier one is anymore, because a lot of the wrestlers, you have to play the Mysterio showcase to even use the parts or the creations. And
True,
to me, I
true.
could have saved $30 just to get the deluxe, which would have been $100. I don't have a problem spending $100 a year. You know, I know not everybody has that luxury, but $100 is all right. But $130 for not getting everything on day one,
Yeah.
that's bullshit. I'll never do that again.
Now they're gonna. I think they're gonna take it on the chin for what they put out. I don't know. People talk a lot. And that's why I keep saying it. So I'll be the biggest hypocrite in the world if I go back on my word. I go back to when everyone was pissed off at the NFL and the NBA for taking knees for the national anthem, and they're burning their uniform, their jerseys, they're burning their season tickets and all that. Yet these arenas and stadiums are still full. How'd that shit happen?
Right.
Y'all went and got your tickets back. You bought your new jerseys, and you're back there supporting the people that you had a problem with. Well, let me tell you something. If these dumbasses would sit out one season, everybody just sit out one season. Little D-Train. If the fans took a season to go on strike, the next season you'd be able to go see the NBA, the NHL, the NFL for $20. And they would be getting paid, short of sponsorship money, regular league money, they'd be making maybe $400,000 or $500,000 a year. And that's more than enough to play a fucking game. But people won't do that. They won't stay committed to walking away from something and making them feel a financial pinch. Well, even in the gaming industry, same thing. 2K habitually puts out games that don't work right. NBA's titles have had issues after issues after issues. Now, I don't know because I stopped buying them many years ago, but it's all out there. Everyone's talking about it, yet people keep going out and buying it.
Sorry.
No, again.
I was just about to say as I got back, sorry, I had to take the dog out. No one's going to see me in the dark, but yeah, you know, at the same time, we're the idiots for continually buying the games because people want it, but they also feel they're getting what they're paying for and they're getting screwed too. So it's,
you know, earlier I was talking about The Last of Us, which is by an organization called Naughty Dog that makes that. And we couldn't say enough about that game. It was freaking amazing. The single player campaign was awesome, off the charts, great acting, great story mode. Everything was phenomenal. Then you had the multiplayer part of that game, which was also phenomenal. So here comes Naughty Dog's long-awaited sequel, Last of Us Part 2, which doesn't have a multiplayer, which right off the bat was kind of a kick in the dick. But at least they told you up front. You still went all in, man. You bought the deluxe package, which came with a collectible figurine because the one in the first one is going for over $1,000 now if you have that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this. I know it won't be worth $1,000 because now everyone and their mother's buying it, but that's okay. So get the whole deluxe edition, get the game, and damn it if they didn't go woke. 2K broke the game, and Naughty Dog woke the game. It was just terrible. Fans hated what they did to the main characters that they loved so much from the first game. They just ruined. It's like I can't even enjoy the first game anymore because of what they did to it in the second game. I wish there was a way I could wipe that part of my memory out and just have a part of me destroy the game and say, trust me, you don't want to do that. The gameplay itself was phenomenal. It looked really good. The combat was amazing. But wow, what they did with that story was just horrible. And you'd be hard-pressed to find the game was all over the place. The original game never came down from $60 until maybe 2 years ago. And it was 5.5 years old at that point. Because it was just selling. It was that good a game. This one dropped within the first month. Because they couldn't sell a copy. The fans that got it, first off, there was a major leak about a month in advance, and boy, fans were pissed. They're like, if this is true, and it turned out it was worse than we thought.
that'll do it.
Yeah, so I can assure you, they're talking about a part 3, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And maybe not even using any of the same characters, which is another, like, then why would I want to? No. I can tell you already, I ain't getting it. But that's my whole point in all this trouble is that if you keep going back with your money, they're going to keep putting out shitty products until you hold them accountable. Yep. So unless the WWE 2K fan base really just decides, I'm not. I mean, there's going to be people obviously going to pre-order it. There's always going to be, but that number has to be like Lightyear numbers. You know, that Disney Pixar Lightyear took a hit. They didn't want to put Tim Allen in it. It's like, that's Buzz Lightyear, dumbasses. But he's a Republican. We can't have him. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Well, in that case, I guess we're going to go see your friggin' movie. And that's what happened. Nobody saw that damn movie. I still can't believe Thor did pretty well, because for all that they did to that movie, from what I heard, I mean, and forgetting about, you know, whatever sexuality about characters might have been in there, just the whole idea, and I love me some Natalie Portman, don't get me wrong, but this She-Thor thing, I'm like, I think I'm good with just the way they wrapped it up there at Endgame. I'm good. I'll just say I'm done with that now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to buy that character, but which makes me think, speaking of characters, we think we're going to see Elias back in some form?
Oh, yeah.
With that
Oh, yeah. He's growing his beard out. He'll be right back. He's going to come and avenge his brother, who can no longer wrestle after the severe injuries he sustained.
Yep, I think that was Triple H's way of, yep, we're killing this character. Done.
They should have done what we did on this channel, man. Should have had, like, Brock come out, beat the shit out of him, sending a message to Roman, and beat him up so bad that he, like, wakes up. Kind of like Shark Boy when he woke up, thought he was stone cold.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And, man, he had a great run with that. He's still doing it. But then if they would have done that with him and he woke up thinking he was Randy Savage, because when Vince first put him in this new tights and outfit, he said, oh, no, he looks like Randy Savage. And I'm like, that's not a bad thing, you stupid ass. Run with it. You're right, he does. Run with it. Everyone can do a Savage impression. Come on.
I mean, Jay Lethal did it for how long in Impact?
Exactly. And it worked. He still dusts it off once in a while. Oh, I'm telling you, they just dropped the ball on that one mightily. That could have been a merch seller. It would have. I mean, look, is he ever going to like sell main event? No, but he wasn't there for that.
No.
He'd have been a whole lot more over than he is in this outfit, though. Who wants to walk with Elias? No, I'm just going to go take a piss. Elias is on. Oh, piss break.
This is funny how this live started. It was going to be a patch update talk. But
There wasn't much to talk about, man. We kind of got away from it after 10, 15 minutes. That's all there was.
This stuff's more interesting than, yeah. Yes, Bray Wyatt is eventually going back to the E prime time. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and somebody, I don't know if it was Cornette or somebody else that I was watching, said, and it was a good point, Triple H has to space this out. He can't just have everybody start showing up week 1, week 2, week 3.
Exactly.
At the same point in time, can we please get Sasha back on TV?
They'll be back at the end.
Yeah, when they crown champions,
Right.
they're going to want their belts back. Now the question
They'll
is, do you
come
take
walking
them off-
out at the end of that.
Yeah, do you take them off the champions that you just crowned within the first 2 months? Or do you drag that out to Mania somehow? Which I don't know how you could do that.
I don't think
Probably not Mania, maybe Royal Rumble.
Maybe.
I think they're going to keep them girls away for a little while. Maybe Survivor Series time or something.
Oh, that's too long.
I don't think so.
That's MJF time.
The fans, at least for Sasha Banks, it don't matter how long she's gone. They're going to like her when she comes back. Naomi?
She's great in ring. I mean, I don't agree with her on many other subjects in this world, but I can't say anything against her in-ring work. And it did take a certain level of balls to walk. I mean, it's not a whole lot of balls when you know you're going to get paid big money by somebody. But at the same point in time, to put the titles down on the table with WWE and walk out, that's a pretty big bridge to burn. But she knows, hey, I'm that good.
But
Somebody's going to want me.
Say this. Those women's tag team titles have been a curse since they were created.
Since the Jumping Bomb Angels, damn it.
Yes. Yep. The first Royal Rumble. I remember.
Yeah.
Wasn't on pay-per-view either. Wasn't on pay-per-view.
No, that was the Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
That is correct. Yep.
USA Network. I still have I have it on VHS. I'm pretty sure if I put it in, it would turn to dust.
Yeah, mine too. Yep.
I was just looking at a bunch of old VHSs that I had bought at Walmart in the day, like the world's greatest high flyers and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm sure if I put this tape in, it would just disintegrate. Primetime says, "Were you a Four Horsemen fan?" Of course. How could
Who
you
wasn't
not-
a Four Horsemen fan?
I'm saying
Hmm.
you got to be a Four Horsemen fan. You don't got a choice.
I don't
But-
think so.
What were you saying?
I don't think it was a horse.
I was just
No. All right. Well, we got to mute him. Then he's got to go. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead.
Well, the rest
I
of
think
us.
I was going to say, I think for me, it was what version of the Horsemen? You know, the original Ole, Arn, Tully, and Flair. When Wyndham was a Horseman, not so
Oh,
much.
really?
Yeah,
Well, let's put it this way. When Luger was a horseman, that was Ole and Arn, right? And Tully and Luger. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Wyndham was the replacement.
for Luger when he turned. Yeah, I guess. I always liked Luger as a horseman, but I like Barry as a horseman too. 'Cause he turned on Dusty, so that worked out well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Tully, Arn,
Actually-
and Barry, but that was a good
I-
team.
I actually just watched on YouTube about 2 days ago the old shows where Wyndham was the United States champion and getting ready to go against Dusty and stuff.
Yeah.
But here's a little tidbit. I was going to share this for real wrestling fans, and since I'm talking to you two, do either of you, have you guys even heard of the Tubi app, like Tubi.com or whatever it's called?
Yes, I have that.
You should check it out. There's I think I saved, there's probably about 80 different wrestling things on there, that including like Detroit wrestling, Memphis
What-
wrestling,
Really?
Portland wrestling.
What is this? What are
yeah.
you talking about?
70s stuff on there. There had some other stuff too. It must have been some guy that makes there's like CZW type documentaries about certain guys and stuff. Those aren't so entertaining, but seeing some of that old school Portland wrestling and stuff is kind of like, it's like the stuff that's not on the network. So it's kind of unique to see. But check if you
Yeah.
check it out, it's you gotta deal with the commercials a little bit, but it's kind of interesting to see some of that old school.
You're talking about something that's on like smart TV channels, like an app.
Yeah,
I
it's an app.
Okay, I've got one that it's like a wrestling channel. It's like a no-name thing, and it's got a bunch of old stuff on there. I don't know if it's the same one you're talking about, though.
I don't know. Is it just an app, or can you actually enter like Tubi.com? I think you can enter.
Oh, it's a website.
I think it is a site because
Hold on.
that too. It is an app.
Let's find out right now.
Check it out.
Yeah, 'cause I was going to say I have it on my phone as an app, but
So it's number
I
two.
haven't been on it in a while.
yeah, I wasn't either, and I accidentally hit the button the other day, and I'm looking. I'm like, what the hell is this? Memphis wrestling? Like what? And I saw, oh no, it's Portland wrestling. I'm like, it just kept going on and on. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I didn't know there was this wrestling on there.
All right, you're saying
Well, I know.
you're saying 2b.com, like the number 2, the letter B is the boy. What's that?
TUBI.
Tube. Oh yeah, Tubi.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Tubi. I was thinking the number 2 and the letter B. I was like, 2B, what the hell is that? Now I got you.
It's got
It's
like,
kind of like a YouTube offset.
there's even like an MJF documentary. It's got some younger stuff when he was like in CZW and stuff like that. When he was
It
going
doesn't have
Really?
the It doesn't have the younger stuff from back when he was on Rosie O'Donnell.
No, I don't know. That's when he was being called Maxwell Jacob Feinstein.
No, I was joking. When he was on Rosie, he was like 12.
Yeah, I know. I remember. But yeah, there's a lot of different wrestling stuff on there. I don't know how, I didn't get to watch them all, obviously. But, some full matches, some I'm sure aren't so full, but, it's like Bruiser Brody documentaries. There's the Sheik documentary, which is like 3 hours long. Not the Iron,
Nice.
but the old school.
The original Sheik.
Yep. So there's a lot of interesting, for us old school wrestling fans that still like watching that stuff, and it's not on the network. It's something to at least check out.
And I'll be honest, I haven't looked at a lot of Tubi. It is on my smart TV, though. I guess maybe I should.
Yeah, well, that's why I was keeping it a secret because I wasn't sure how many people knew about it, but I was like, okay, these are real good wrestling fans. I'll share it with them because.
See, that information you can only get exclusively here on the Nation Network.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
where I'm Prime time. We were talking about CM Punk earlier, like an hour and a half ago. It's really gone on. Really. But yeah, we're all saying the same thing. Tomorrow we're going to know if it was a shoot or not based on the outcome of the match.
Yes.
If Punk loses tomorrow night and loses the title, it was a shoot. And you probably won't see him again.
Yes, infrared. Totally correct. Not Calgary wrestling, actually Canada wrestling. That's right. Rickards, Ricky.
Yep.
Yep, that's right.
Primetime, loving the old school wrestling, especially the NWA Mid-Atlantic and the NWA Worldwide. I agree with you. That's one of the reasons why I was doing with the Superstar Pro Wrestling board game / PC version that I've been doing recently. That's why the first thing I did was set up a UWF league, because that was kind of that Mid-South thing that I really enjoyed in the 80s. And in the last couple of days, I've been spending a lot of time on that game. That's why I haven't been streaming anything. But I've got an NWA roster now all put together. I've got, I don't know how many damn tag teams, like 25, 35 tag teams. That's the one thing about the game. It's like, let's say you want to do a Horseman. You can do a tag team of the Horseman as a Tully and Arn. But then if you want to make them a 6-man, you have to make a 3-person team. So you got to do Tully, Arn, and Barry Windham, and make that separate. So you're doing basically twice, but it's literally just plugging names in. It's not like the WWE games where you've got to do the entrance and the Tron and the music and all that shit. So, but you do have to do a separate. You can't just add 3 names and say, okay, I'm gonna have a 6-man with these 3. You have to make them team.
That's a little bit more time consuming.
But very little.
But
very
yeah, little, yeah, you don't have to do all that extra BS.
Yeah. So I was starting to say earlier that, boy, we really did get sidetracked. The reason I'm messing around with StreamYard for the first time ever is because I've got some interviews kind of on deck. And one of them is the guy who took the game from the board and put it on the PC. And as I'm playing this game more, and I'm curious, saying, well, I want to see how he matches. So I'm kind of going inside of it. And I'm not that big a computer geek. But back in the day, I used to write stuff that was all text document. Like we'd have a program that would play a hockey game, and it would be randomized outcomes based on slightly statistics of the players involved, but it would basically print out the play-by-play. You know, it's like the so-and-so brings the puck across the blue line, the next line, it was all dot matrix back then, so you're going through ink ribbons like nobody's business. And I still have a few of those play-by-play sheets somewhere. But that's what this guy has done. And as I'm opening up and going in the back door a little bit, I'm like, oh shit. And I'm kind of, parts of it is coming back to me, the language and the lines, but not enough to do anything with. But what I could do is, now that I can see the matches, I could say, okay, well, I can rename the match and I can change the moves in the match. So I made basically a cheap version of a War Games. But again, with the game, you can do no more than 3-on-3. And you can't incrementally bring them in. So basically a 6-man tag match inside a War Games cage. So you'd have the theater of the mind. You're going to have 2 rings with a cage over both with a lid on top. So I did that. I was happy with that. I've done a bunch of wrestlers. And one of the things I did is the guy who's in charge of this, I believe his name's Tom. I sent him all of my paperwork that I created after the game, because there was a lot of stuff the game didn't do, and I came up with ways of doing it. So for example, the game doesn't have a floor chart. If you get thrown out of the ring, it's just a matter of, do you beat the count back in or not, and that's it. I'm like, well, no, while you're outside the ring, shit should be going down. So the way I did it, I came up with a floor chart. So if you go out of the ring, it's not a count out situation yet. First, let's see what happens outside the ring. And now you're rolling again to see who's on offense outside the ring until at least one person is. Maybe both, and then you roll the chart based on priority. That one goes first, that one goes second, because there's options on there where you hit him with a pile driver on the floor and that's it, call the ambulance, match is over, he's out for 2 weeks. So I sent him all that stuff. I did a barbed wire match, all kind of, and I sent it all to him. I said, listen, I've looked in the back door what you've done. I'm impressed. It's beyond my scope of talent at this point in my life. But if you can find any way to take any of this stuff and translate it to some of what you've got going on here, have at it, man. Just, I said, if you do nothing else but add the floor chart and have a way for that to work, it will add so much depth to this game. It's not funny. So when I get him on here in another week or two, he wants to wait because he is updating this game and going to be not re-releasing it. He's going to be adding the newer version of it up where you'll be able to create your own custom matches. Now, what that's going to look like, I don't know yet.
But now,
looking forward.
Who wins the coin toss for the war games?
Well, there won't be a coin toss. It's 6-on-6, 3-on-3. So you're just gonna have a 6-man tag match.
So you can't even do it where somebody enters in.
No, I mean this guy might be able to come up with it, but that would be insane. I don't know that he could do 5-on-5 either. I guess look, a computer. What can a computer not do? But like I said, looking at all the text that he had to put together and the mathematical equations for the computer to realize, okay, if this happens, then that happens, and I'm just sitting there going, man, this guy spent so much fucking time on this thing. I don't have that level of patience in me anymore. If I did, I would do like knit work. I'd be stitching a Afghan or something. I think we lost Jay.
Nah, he said he'll be right back. There's a private chat. I don't know if you know that you can read that, but there's a section for comments, and that's a private chat. That's only for people.
See, that's what I was in earlier, and that's why I didn't see the comments. Comments are. I said, see, that's what's good about
this. If I want to complain about somebody in the chat or something, I could put in a private chat and be like, hey, look, jerk, look for this guy or something.
Oh, I got to keep up on all this stuff. What is this?
Once you use it once or twice, you'll be a pro at this. It's really not that difficult.
To customize your overlay, the free plan comes with one example overlay. Yeah, I noticed that. All right. I'm going to have to look into the dollars and cents on this thing. I might.
Well, again,
I gotta admit, I'm liking it.
Curious about, like I said, you can have stuff scrolling on the bottom. It's like if you were wanting to advertise your t-shirts with a link, you could have that continually scrolling on the bottom. So you wouldn't have to.
Let me see. I'm not seeing anything like that. Let me look some more.
Like I said, there's a few things you can do. Big overlay, so there's something cool in the background instead of just the blue. There's, a lot of different.
We got sole layout. We got, what's this thing? Crop layout.
Because I was using it for the podcast thing that we were doing, and that worked out really good.
Shift +2.
Some of the characters, if I ever had footage of behind the scenes stuff of some of those interviews, oh my god. Rip Rogers alone was one of the weirdest out there characters I've ever talked to in my entire life. That man is out there, but
layout +5. Okay, not doing anything. I'm just messing around back here at the same time, trying to see screen layout, picture-in-picture layout.
Yeah, like I said, there's that feature where if you wanted to play a little video or something for everybody to see, you could.
Trying to see like where the scrolling thing would come in, because like obviously I have it on OBS, but there's not any.
It's called the ticker.
It's called the ticker?
Yeah. And then you have to hit, there's like a thing to hit the edit or something, and then you can have it type and scroll with whatever color.
All right, so there's edit up here. Let me see what edit has. That's just for the name of the stream. Okay, so that's not doing anything. Comments, banners, maybe under banners.
Yeah, and then there should be something that's I'm pretty sure it's called the ticker. Kind of like a sports ticker, on the bottom scroll.
Right. This is an example of a banner. Click on a banner, show it on screen.
So, screen.
And then you can edit it. Oh, I see that part. And then it'll scroll. I got it. How did I get there? I don't know what I did. Oh, it's right there. Banners. Got you. And then what's this over here? Brand color.
Yes, you could have it that's all
bubbles.
universally colored, whatever you want, or
You can change the shapes of the little boxes.
yep, or you could have it where there's no names, or you could because you
Got
could change that color too instead of blue. You could
Right,
make,
that part I saw. I just didn't realize what I was changing color on.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now we're yellow. Now we're pink. Ooh, that pops. And then we got logo, which of course I'm sure, yeah, you gotta pay to put your logo.
Yeah,
Understandable. They gotta make some money, I'm sure. And then the video clips. It seems like it would let me do the video clip, which is weird. It won't let me do a logo, but it'll let me do a video clip.
yeah. Well, that's for people because like I said, I've seen a lot of people use this for podcasts. Like I said, I was too, so I know exactly what it is. If you want to, you want to brand it so it looks, try to make it as somewhat professional as possible.
Yeah, just somewhat.
So I
Not-
I
Not
spent
too much.
I spent the time making the overlays and all that crap.
Somewhat. That's all I'm looking for. The best line in Top Gun Part 2. I'm not really a teacher. I just want to manage expectations.
Yes.
God, I can't wait for that thing to hit DVD.
It's available for digital, I believe.
Yeah, I want a hard copy.
I got you.
I can't believe, and I understand why, but I can't believe they didn't do any 3D version of that movie. But because they were shooting it for real in an actual fighter plane, there's no room for those cameras in there.
Yeah, no.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
That would have been insane. But can you imagine? Then again, I could do it after the fact because I've got the first Top Gun in 3D. And Titanic was redone in 3D, so it's doable.
Now, maybe they will. Maybe they will down the line. I don't know. I mean, it's done great at the box office. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, because people wanted to go see a movie again instead of woke agenda bullshit. All this stuff being force fed on people, they got tired of it.
True. It's still not the first one, and it never would be, but it was a serviceable sequel. It wasn't.
Well, I've seen this one 3 times in the theater. I only saw the first one once.
Oh, well.
And I love the first one. Don't get me wrong. Now, I've seen it about 25 times all said and done. But in the theater, I'd seen it once. This one was a little on the long side. It could have been a little shorter.
Yeah. Just a little
But
bit. Trim another
yeah.
10 minutes off. It probably
That's
would've
about
been-
right. That's what I would say, too. But it was so well done. The writing, directing, everything.
Yes. Now leave it, though. Don't make a Top Gun 3. But
No, I wouldn't push it any further.
Don't push it. I mean, it's kind of.
We don't need Iron Eagle.
Yeah, you got your callbacks. You got the Sun. You had the Patty Benjamin. All that. You did all the callbacks. You don't need to bring Meg Ryan back or any of that stuff.
Well, didn't they write her off? Isn't she dead? She died of cancer or something in this story.
Did she?
Yeah,
I thought
they
that
wrote her
was
off in the story.
Iceman that did.
Well, he also, but I mean, like she died before him. Like that's why she's not in.
Oh, yeah. Maybe
There's one point in time where they're talking about when they're starting to realize that there's a history between Goose's son and Maverick, and the other guys on the flight team are like, "Oh, what was the one cocky guy's name?" He's like, "Oh man, I know there's something going on here," and then he figured it out when he saw the picture of Goose and Maverick.
Yeah, I might have missed. I might have missed that or something.
Yeah.
Possible.
But I think there was some conversation between Maverick and Goose's son where he said, "I'm real sorry about what happened to your mother," or something to that effect.
Yeah. Rooster.
Rooster, there you go. I don't know that it's ever going to catch the same way as you're my wingman, Goose. Talk to me,
Probably
Goose.
not, but
I still say that all the damn time when I'm having a brain fart and I'll be sitting there, "Talk to me, Goose, talk to me." All the damn time I do that. My girlfriend looks at me, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Trust me."
yeah, you're not going insane. It actually is something.
No, it's a thing.
It's a thing. You just, yeah.
Doesn't do a thing for my memory to clear up or anything, but the more I lose my memory, the more I realize any day now.
Now, see, you got to watch.
I could be
Vince
president.
Lives. You never know what you're going to see on a Vince Live, man.
I'm going to wake up in the White House one day and wonder how the fuck I got there. I won't be the first guy to do that, but I'll be next. All you need is some people. Weekend at Bernie's, man, just to pick you up and walk you around, throw you in front of a podium, get you the hell out of there before you bobble too much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Infrared TV stuff from Canada that's not Calgary. Rick Rude's rookie year in the business is on Tubi. Some Canadian wrestling that's not Calgary.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Huh.
And very early Rick Rude stuff, which how can you go wrong with that?
That's what I say. It's good. It's a very unique kind of set of stuff they have on there, but it's anybody could be the president. Yeah, pretty much.
If we haven't proven that by now. It does help if you have at least $1 million behind your name. Let's go that route. I don't know that you or I could pull it off.
No. You know, the one person that has the gift of gab that would do it, but I don't know if he'd ever be a great president, would be The Rock. But he's too busy.
Well, he would not be a good president, and he might do it. And I'm scared of that idea. He's been bought into Hollywood, man. They've groomed him.
I don't know. I kind of always wanted Jesse to run.
I did, but not anymore, man. The more I hear him talk nowadays, it's like that ain't the Jesse in Minnesota that ran for governor.
True.
Because what I loved about him is he wasn't Republican, he wasn't Democrat. He wasn't even a little of both, really.
Yeah, he really was his own deal.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I agreed with enough of it. And for the same reason I wanted Trump to win. We need to get people that aren't politicians in there and get the politicians out. That's the number one most important thing to happen, is that we, not only that, but at some point in time, hopefully, and I don't think it'll be my lifetime, but if we can get enough of these business people in. They were interviewing Jared Kushner earlier today on Newsmax and saying, if your father-in-law runs again, are you going to be part of the team again? He's like, I don't know. The reality is this: I served for 4 years. I did my civic duty. And when our founding fathers came up with this Constitution, it was always about, you're going to leave the farm, you're going to spend 4 to 6 years giving to your country, and then you go back to the farm. The problem is these people don't go back to the damn farm.
No.
Because it wasn't making any money. But in politics, we're making killer money in this. And they did a thing where they showed the income, the value of Donald Trump when he went into office, the value of Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi when they all went into office. The only person that lost money on the way out was Trump. Everyone else didn't just go up. They went up exponentially. I mean, 100 times their value. Now, how are you doing that with a job that pays less than $500,000?
Right.
I mean, we know how Nancy's doing. Her husband has all the inside trading secrets. And then, by the way, if you didn't hear this, I know now we're jumping into a politics show, but I can't help it. Her husband gets sentenced today for his DUI charge. Did you hear this one? He got 5 days. A 5-day sentence.
Wow.
Well, it gets better. They saying he already served 2 when he got arrested, so that leaves 3 days. We're giving him 2 days off for good behavior. He ain't served any yet. And then the 3rd day is going to be community service. Well, the 2 days already served. He was arrested at 10 o'clock at night. That's day 1. Then it turned midnight. That's day 2. And he was out by 6 a.m. Didn't serve 24 hours for DUI. I say the 3 of us right now, drink a 6-pack, get behind the car, and see which one of us gets the 5-day sentence. You need to get them out. They need to go. They should never be any more than 12 years max in elected officials. So if you're good, you spend 4 years as a governor or as a senator or whatever, and then you have a shot at 8 years as a president. If you're good. But after that, get your ass back, write your books, do your podcasts, whatever, engagements you can make money off of. That's all fine and dandy, but get the hell out of politics. And primetime has really just fixed the whole damn situation. Ric Flair for president. With the vice president being The Rock. Can you imagine Ric Flair president at the podium?
Walking
He's
around
styling, profiling.
with just a robe on, huh?
If maybe, not
That'd be one hell of a
necessarily.
press conference.
No guarantees, man. No guarantees.
God.
First off, I want to address the fact that this lady says that I had sex with her the other day, and it's not true. It was all night long. Woo!
Maybe not 60 minutes, but
Well, he won't admit to it.
yeah, no, yeah, no.
During the roast, I think Wendy had one of the few good zingers in there. Leave it to the wife to get one in. It's a Space Mountain, the 60-minute man. Now I'm happy if I get 60 seconds.
Is she actually still the wife? Or they just
Yeah,
separate?
I think she came back to him again.
I thought they
like-
separated and then she came back. So
Right.
yeah.
And I last I heard, that's where it's at. I mean, if he thinks he's gonna get anyone else at this point in his life, he's got to stop. Just settle down, like he said at the roast, which wasn't even a roast.
No.
What she's done for him and how she stood by him and the physical things she had to do to keep him going when he was almost dead and changing catheter bags. And I mean, that's the person you stick with, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think he knows it too.
Well,
God,
maybe
God
Linda
bless him.
McMahon's available, you know. It makes you wonder, with all the stories you hear about Vince, you always heard rumors maybe a little bit that maybe Linda, some of the boys maybe. But makes you
Oh, I
wonder.
never heard those rumors.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Never heard those rumors. It wouldn't surprise me, but I never heard any of those rumors.
I mean, I never heard anybody specifically or anything like that, but they're always kind of hurt because everyone knew Vince was screwing around since the 80s.
Well,
You
he
know?
trying to hide it.
Exactly. So it
Vince
just makes
was
you wonder
terrible at hiding.
who was Linda with?
I mean, I don't want to be mean. She seems like a nice enough lady, and I like her politics. So nowadays, that goes a long way with me. I don't know what to say, man.
Yeah, we don't. I guess I don't want to get you in trouble with this episode because, man, oh, you're defaming Linda McMahon, and oh, yeah.
Well, it's an opinion. We're allowed to have opinions. And
Are we?
again, I don't have a
Are
problem
we?
with her as a person. I don't know that I could look at her and keep an erection.
Yeah,
That's
no.
mean, I know, but it's just I've never looked at her and thought, "Ooh, look at that."
I mean, who do you think would? I don't know. See, that's just guessing. Who do you think back in the day could have been somebody that maybe did something with Linda McMahon?
Ooh, Kamala.
Well, it definitely wasn't
Oh.
Pat Patterson.
Can you imagine that?
True.
I don't think it was Gerald Briscoe either.
Jeez, Terry Funk.
God,
That brings up something else I wanted to talk about. One of the other interviews I got coming up. So we just had this Comic-Con type thing at the place I work at, and it was a smaller downscale version. Anyway, they got this guy who's an attorney, and during 2K20 there was this thing called COVID, so nobody really did much. And he decided to take advantage of the downtime, and he made a connection with Nikolai Volkov. And Nikolai talked to him about, he reached out to Nikolai about wanting to do a book on him. And he didn't have it all mapped out how he wanted it to go yet, but he wanted to do a book. And Nikolai's like, you know what? I've tried doing this twice before, and it failed each time. And he says, listen, I promise you, if I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm seeing it through. He said, okay, let's do it. And he did. But what he ended up doing is he would listen to the stories of the road. And we've seen wrestlers talk about, the pranks they play on one another or whatever. We've heard some of the stories.
Owen Hart. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're legendary, right? What this guy does is he gets the stories, draws them out in cartoon format. So you have now comic books of these stories come to life. So they're all true stories. So he's got, and I posted it on the channel. If you go in the community tab, you'll see the colors.
Yes, I did see those. Yeah.
There you go. And I bought a bunch of them because I want to read through them myself. But he's been working really closely with Terry Funk, who sadly is not doing well right now.
No.
Yeah, no,
Alzheimer's for sure, right?
he's got some dementia, and he's
Maybe
using a
it's dementia.
walker.
Yeah, he's
He's on a walker right now, and he's in like an
Oh, man.
assisted living facility. But this guy talks to him 2 or 3 times a week anyway. And I can't wait to get through. I'll just tell you one. The thing that sold me on this particular copy of his comic books, because he's got a bunch of them, was I mentioned Rick Martel being the first wrestling match I ever watched. Was Rick Martel and Tony Gurria lose the tag team titles to Fuji and Saito when Fuji threw salt in the eyes of Martel, and as an 8-year-old, I guess you're not supposed to say that motherfucker, because my mother heard that. My mother heard that.
Well,
That was a dark day in wrestling history for me.
I can imagine so.
But anyway, I mentioned that to him. Oh, then you'll like this. And he flips right to the page. So here's a young Rick Martel riding with Terry Funk after the matches. They're leaving. He's like, Rick, you got to earn your keep around here, man. Get out of the car naked, run around, and jump back in. Martel wants to make everyone happy. Gets naked, runs around the car. They drive off.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Here's the comic book of Rick with his dick hanging out, running after the car.
The early stages of him being the model, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
So he's going to be on the show as well. And he says, hey, if you give me enough heads up, he's done stuff for the Killer Bee. So he's in contact with Brunzell, Blair. Damn, you could name just better. Hacksaw, Jim Duggan. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. There were so many of them there. But he did Rocky Johnson, which, of course, unfortunately, it's too late to do anything there. But, we met with him, spoke with him, got stories. Ton of stuff. So we're looking forward to having him and maybe even one of the guys. It would be great. I don't think Terry's capable anymore, unfortunately. But, yeah, so it's one of the reasons why I'm testing out StreamYard here, because I want it to be good. And the way tonight's going, I'm happy. And I think we're going to have a real successful thing. This subscription service, do we know, can you just do 1 month, or is it a year commitment?
You can do it by month. Yes.
You can. Maybe that costs a little extra if you do it by month as opposed to the year up front.
Because I actually
Probably.
stopped doing podcasts just for a little bit, so I can actually pause it so I don't lose anything, and I can.
So you can pause this, or like if you pay for a year but don't use it for a year straight, you can pause it.
Well, I don't know if you can pause it for a year, but you can pause it for a little bit. Another thing that's cool too is obviously you don't have to do it live. You can record it and it saves, and you can always upload it too.
Yeah, I'd noticed that, and I think a maximum of an hour. Well, at least with the free one, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
about
otherwise you get, if you pay for it, you get I think 50 gigabytes. I think it is.
Okay.
I could be wrong on the number, but I mean I had a lot of different shows and everything's still saved on there. So you could download it to yourself, and if you wanted to edit, cut something out, you certainly could. Obviously, it's more time consuming, but if you were talking to us and you're like, they were boring for 10 minutes, let me cut that part out. You could download it, edit it up if you had the thing, and then upload it with us, whatever.
And you say that, but then when I was doing the Inside the Creator Studio stuff earlier on the 2K season, that is one of the advantages. If there was something that just didn't, and there was one, I'm not going to say which one, but there was one that there was some real dead spots. And I'm like, well, that's okay, because I'm in post, that's going to get cut out anyway. We're not going to ever see that. And it made it move much smoother that way than if we would have done it straight through. But I do like something about this live thing where we have people that can interject. Like Big JH is saying hello there to D-Train and myself and to Jay. So,
yes. Big man in the house.
Worst scenario, Vince McMahon run the country. Worst scenario, let Vince McMahon run the country. I don't know about that.
And it's pretty cool the amount of guests you could add with paid subscription. But I couldn't imagine having like 8-10 people on at the same time, because that would just be too much.
Either somebody's not going to say nothing, or everyone's going to be talking over each other.
Well, yeah, and just even with some of the wrestlers that like we did interviews with and stuff, it's like even them, we had me and there was 2 other guys kind of with the one guy, and you kind of had to pick and choose what question. You almost had to format it in a way, because otherwise, somebody might want to ask 20 questions, but if I want to ask 20 questions, and you get somebody like Rip Rogers who you ask one question, and 15 minutes later he's just on a rant, like you're not going to get how to get those questions in,
Yeah, I did see that one, as a matter of fact, and you're right about the rant.
The Rip Rogers, yeah, he was talking about the ring rats and all that stuff.
Man, he was just tearing it up, and it's like, wow, listen to him go.
Yeah, he was. He just looked. Yeah, he was something else. That guy was just like one of the most interesting, just weird characters just out there. But yeah, Lanny was the most professional. But yeah,
Yeah, Lanny was. He's a straight talker, always has been. By the way, did he ever come clean on the whole Hannibal thing? That was a work, right?
I thought I saw somewhere in an interview when somebody asked him. I'm pretty sure they said that was some kind of a work thing. Yeah.
But they did a great job of selling it as a shoot.
Yeah, I remember because I remember seeing it footage. He slapped the crap out. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it really, they sold it beautifully, and even Honky Tonk's in on it, and he's like, enough of this bullshit, knock it off, get the fucking camera out of here, man. This ain't it. And it just really worked. It was enough to make you sit there. Anytime you can make people sit back and go, wait a minute, is that real? Then you've done your job.
Exactly. But
Even with MJF, it's like, okay, was that shoot real? Of course, we don't believe it. You know, we think it wasn't a shoot; it was a work. But man, you're taking the gold. They even admitted that, and how do you not admit it? It's a statistical fact that anyone can look up. His segments were the highest rated on the program. Every week. That's the guy you're gonna kick to the curb for 2 months to make an A. It's just not a smart businessman that does that.
Yeah, it seems to have been too long. He's definitely going to show up at All Out. They have to because there's nobody else. All the free agents are going back to the other company. So, you know, Gargano might have been one of the last ones. And he just went back to Raw. So,
you know what broke my heart this week? The announcement that the Good Brothers contract is done at Impact. They're going to be around through the pay-per-view.
Yeah, they signed a 1 month extension to stick around, yep.
Well, they're already on an extension. So they're going to lose the titles now for sure. And I hate the idea of them not being there, man. Them as part of the Bullet Club. Without them, you don't really have the Bullet Club anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Bay's talented. He's there, but
yeah, but you can't lose those two guys. I mean, you got Chris Bay. Jay White's not even on the roster anymore. What happened with him?
Back to Japan.
But, I mean, he's not going to be an Impact at all? Because if you lost Jay White and the Good Brothers, you don't have it. You just don't. You got Jay White and Ace Austin, and what? Now, maybe you're going to move some new guys in, but who fits? Nobody currently. I love me some Steve Macklin. I'm really starting to see potential world champion in him. I think he's got a look to him. I think he can. I really just his moves in the ring, the way he does it. I could easily see him putting a belt on him for a run and see what happens with it. But then they make him lose. It's like, come on.
Well, I did see, and I'm not sure if they're going to be on TV or on the YouTube this week or is it next week. But I saw that No Way Jose and Wesley Blake were on AEW. I don't believe they're signed.
No Way Jose is on AEW. Ooh.
But they did matches.
As if they don't got problems already.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, where's Samoa Joe?
Okay, Jay White is the reigning IWGP World Champion, apparently. I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. He's the champ, so he's not.
Nope, not getting him back.
No.
And then the Good Brothers come back soon. Impact, they might pop up again in AEW. Good Brothers come back soon.
But they
not sure what Impact with Primetime means by that, but
it's really good if they went there. But man, they've got so much. It's like you almost do have to start trimming some of the fat there that you're really not going to use because.
And they've had a little bit of a working relationship with Impact in the past. I think they should go back to that. It would hurt nobody. As a matter of fact, it would benefit both companies greatly to do a talent exchange. Get some of your
Mix
guys.
stuff up a little bit.
Yeah, because if Impact is losing Jay White, if they're going to end up losing the Good Brothers, that's 3 big contracts that's going to open money up for. And then maybe you can come up. Let's think. All right, who's not being used enough in AEW, which is 80% of the roster, that would be a good fit to become a Bullet Club member, to be inducted into the club.
To be a Bullet Club member.
Yeah.
That's
Who
on
would you take
AEW roster.
off the AEW roster? Who would you take to fill in those 3 spots so you could keep the Bullet Club thing moving in Impact Wrestling?
You want Hangman Page to go over there for a little while?
No, I really don't.
But I mean, what are they doing with him since he lost?
Yeah, but what? He seems like a cool enough dude, and I actually like the way he dresses. Okay, but I would wear any of those shirts, man. I love those shirts he wears.
Gosh.
But have I ever spent money on a ticket because Hangman's going to be there? No, he's just too small. And I grant you, a lot of the elite guys, or not the elite, but the Wolfpack guys there weren't the biggest in the Bullet Club. Chris Bay's not the biggest, but he was surrounded by guys that were bigger. You know, Jay White's a little bit bigger, and then you had the Good Brothers.
God.
I know, I'm thinking the same thing.
Because, I mean, they have good wrestlers, but to be part of the Bullet Club, I mean...
Yeah, you have to have a certain, like Ace Austin is a good fit. So that's what I'm trying to think. What do they have that either is or could justifiably be? The way they did with Yuta Wheeler, and bringing him into the BBC or the BCC, and it's worked for him. It's helped him move forward in his career. Now, a month before that transition happened, would you have believed it if I told you?
No.
Me either.
So, I mean, they could put somebody in there and you'd be like, oh, it doesn't seem like it fit, and then it fits.
Yeah, but the question is who? You can't just throw anyone, obviously. So the question then comes down to what or whom could you put in there? Now you're giving up a tag team. Do you replace it with like an FTR? But at the same time, FTR's already done enough changing. You don't want them to become Bullet Club all of a sudden. Plus, they're getting TV time in AEW. So what are they going to bitch about?
Yeah.
Right.
And what match is there an Impact that they would have to want to have? By the way, there's another Comic-Con coming up in Orlando, the MegaCon, the big one. And it's got a ton of wrestling stars signing autographs, including The Undertaker. And then it mentions down below the names that have canceled, which include the Hardys. It's like, oh, I couldn't get out of jail in time to sign? Oh, man. Oops.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's such a... it is a deep roster. Like I said, it is a very talented roster. But, man... Bullet Club.
You can't just throw anybody in Bullet Club. That's the thing.
No. Just like you couldn't put anybody in the Horsemen.
Right.
But if you got in the Horsemen, they were going to make you.
Hold them away for a while?
Now, according to Prime Time, the Good Brothers are free agents. They're going to wrestle in New Japan, Impact, and AEW. And Infrared is saying FTR versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Yes, that would be a good match, but what after that? So, again, would that be enough to bring FTR in? Oh, wait a minute. Why couldn't the Motor City Machine Guns join?
Well, I would have
This is
liked
the
to
age factor.
and Ortiz would be not for Bullet Club, but to go back to Impact. But since they're not getting along anymore, because that was when they were best, when they were in Impact.
Yeah, because they were part of the, LAX?
Yeah.
Yeah. That,
Awesome.
I'll tell you what, out of everything TNA ever did, the original LAX was the one thing they did that I was like, holy shit, they've got something, finally. They didn't just buy some ex-WWF talent. They developed a team that is over, that you really just hated or loved, I guess, depending which side of the fence you were on. I hated them, but it was legit buyable heat.
Yeah, I still remember that Hernandez doing that border toss to Gail Kim that time when he tossed her all the way across the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a tough landing she took on that one too, man.
Yeah,
Infrared.
that's one tough shit. She's still one of my all-time favorites. She was.
Yeah, I always liked her. WWF, I liked her. I couldn't believe that. Well, I mean, she did get a title run and all that, but I just never felt that they did nearly what they could have done with her. But again, Vince apparently didn't, seeing her what most everyone else did.
Yep.
But I always thought she was pretty solid. And again, seeing her on Twitter and stuff, I realized that we wouldn't have much in common other than wrestling. So just kind of leave it there, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Yes.
Infrared is saying FTR versus the OGK. Again, it would be a good match. So you got two matches, keeps them around for a little bit, I guess. I just don't see. Well, all right. At the same point in time, what can they do in AEW that they haven't done already? They've been with the Young Bucks, which is the reason they were brought in. They've done, the job, and then they got the win. So that's all a wash. Now the Bucks are fan favorites too, so there's no return match necessarily coming. And that's the other thing that Impact does better than everybody. You don't have to have a face versus a heel. You can have two wrestlers competing. And no one else has got the common sense to realize that. You're promoting it as a sport. Even if you're the E, it's sports entertainment. So it's some way or another you're trying to convey this is a competitive environment. And while it might not be competitive in win-loss, it's still competitive in who gets much money and how much money and who's the main guy. So there is competition in it. And there is sports in it because they are athletes. So why don't you, look at, they're taking so much from things like UFC. How many times do UFC guys get in there and beat the shit out of each other, but they're actually best friends in real life? And then shaking hands when it's all said and done. And give you the fight that you never thought you were going to see. That's what Impact does. They will let any two guys, if they think they can draw money with them, get in the ring. So yeah, you got your baby faces against your heels and you do all that. But then you got just some really top-notch. Hell, you just had the Motor City Machine Guns going head-to-head to see who goes after the world title. And it was a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
Show me AEW doing that. Show me WWE doing that. I don't see it. I just don't get why Impact isn't being seen by larger crowds. I understand Access is not the easiest channel for some people to watch, but they're on YouTube, so you can see it no matter what. And it's an internet world now, so you can always get a copy of it. But what I can't figure out, because again, they were just at my place a few months ago, and there might have been 500 people there, and I'm like, no, they should be playing to a lot more people. They should have over 2,000 people. They got a roster that's stacked. They put on a phenomenal card. But I honestly felt like if I wasn't working in that place, I wouldn't have known they were in town. They don't advertise for shit.
No, you're right.
I don't get why. It's like you have something to brag about, brag. I know it costs money to advertise. I ain't stupid. But at the same point in time, Facebook gets out and they got the filters and all that shit. So everybody who's got any kind of a wrestling group that they belong to is going to get hit with your ads. I don't know. What it costs to do that, I'm not sure. But if it brings in 2,000 people.
Yeah, Facebook ads, it all depends on how you want it to be seen and how often and stuff like that. It can cost you a pretty penny. But
what would you guess? If they wanted to run an ad, a 30-second ad, or a banner, I don't know if it's a banner or if it's an ad or whatever it is, and they wanted to get it out in front of a wrestling public, what do you guess it would cost? I have no clue, to be honest. But does it not translate at the end of the day? There's a cost to acquire a new customer. When I was working at Disney, they made it very clear to us. If you can give a guest $200 back for a really legitimately bad interaction they had, it's a lot cheaper than us spending $2,000 to bring a new guest in. Because that's what they've averaged it out. It costs them about $2,000 to acquire a new guest. And that's Disney. So that's why I wondered to myself what it would cost.
Well, and part of the thing is, too, there is a lot of wrestling out there again now, too. Like wrestling it's not as hot. It'll never be as hot as the mid to late '90s. It just won't be. There's too much other stuff on TV. There's so much other stuff going on. But there is a lot of wrestling. I mean, I don't watch Game Changer Wrestling very much, but that does seem to have a pretty good following.
I never even heard of that.
Game Changer, the one where Cardona has been a part of.
Oh, I thought it was Guerrilla Combat or something like that. Was that not Guerrilla Combat Wrestling?
No, it's Game Changer Wrestling, yeah.
But they fight like guerrilla wrestling. There was an organization called Guerrilla Wrestling a while back. That was another ECW
Pro
one.
Wrestling Gorilla?
What was it?
PWG, Pro Wrestling Gorilla?
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, they
Okay.
still do stuff out the West Coast there, yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is when I saw this, I thought it was that same organization
Oh, okay.
because I see Matt putting himself through death matches, which for the life of me, I have no idea. It's like, why? You are so much better than that. I just don't get why he does that to himself. Putting his body through that and scarring himself up.
Must not hate it.
I don't think he needs it. I think he's just getting off, I guess, on having all these titles or whatever. But I don't know. I wish he'd stay away from that one.
It makes me
Infrared is saying that Josh Alexander, Alex Shelley match at Emergence was bananas live. Well, good for you for being there live. I enjoyed it. Again, that's another pay-per-view. I'm buying their pay-per-views. As long as you give me a good product, I'll give you the money. And again, I want to see them do better. I want bigger arenas. I'm not saying go out there and rent the Nassau Coliseum or even the Amway Center over here, because you're not going to probably put 15,000. But we've got an arena where I work that seats 8,000, and you could probably get at least half of that in with better advertising and marketing.
So, and a totally different question. Jay, what the heck is that in your background? Are those DVDs? Wrestling DVDs?
Yeah,
DVDs?
yeah.
I was just wondering because I saw
Yeah,
it. Those are either movies or wrestling stuff.
Now, I'm looking at 4.
No,
Is
it's-
that all of it, or is there more below? Like, does that go all the way to the floor?
Almost
can
to the
only
floor. There's like 6 shelves of.
6 shelves, so there's 2 that didn't show up in camera. That's a pretty
Right.
good collection right there. I don't even know how many I got. They're in the bedroom in a small rack. There's 2 small racks, so they.
Like obscure or something that maybe not the average person might have.
Well,
Yeah,
we're not
it's-
average
it's
people
like-
around here, are we?
It's mainly just older movies that I've liked and I've wanted to just keep, so I'll find them cheap and pick up a DVD just to have it.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Yes.
Fred saying it's cheaper. I'm guessing the advertising for Facebook would be cheaper than what they paid the Good Brothers for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. It would.
I wonder what they paid them. What do you figure? Like, they were trying to get Bray Wyatt. I mean, how much money could they have possibly thrown at him?
Maybe 100, 150 grand.
No, it'd have to be more than that to even have him answer the phone. He's the hottest free agent in wrestling right now.
I don't think so, because back then it wasn't so easy to get to Japan back then. So at that time it was either there or obviously AEW didn't have interest, or I don't know what. I wonder.
No, AEW definitely had interest. He didn't go because he was doing the movie. So he already had an income coming in. And since the movie's been done, that's when he started getting on his Twitter machine and starting to do things. And then Triple H comes along, and it's like, okay, now I think there's really no doubt where he's going to end up.
Oh, Bray Wyatt we're talking about. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think we were talking about?
Oh, I thought you were saying how much the good. No, I thought you were asking about how much you thought the Good Brothers were getting paid.
Well, I was, but then I brought in Bray Wyatt thinking, how much were they going to offer him? I mean, if the Good Brothers are getting paid decent money, how much could they have possibly thrown with Impact budget?
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, it would have had to be sponsorship money coming in from that. I mean, whether it's I don't know. I mean, whoever the sponsors are, I hate to say it, but I just fast forward through commercials all the damn time. So, which brings up a question. Picture in picture. Do we watch the match or do we fast forward through the commercials?
It all
I
depends on
watch.
the match for me.
So Jay watches. What'd you say, Train?
It depends on what the match is.
Really? So you'll sit through a picture-in-picture if it's the right match?
But that's 50-50.
Yeah, I'm look at it this way. Nobody's ever won or lost a match during picture-in-picture. So I fast forward that shit.
But you do miss some kind of little things that you're doing. Sometimes you come back and it's like, it's just,
There was one hardcore type match. I don't even remember who it was. I don't remember if it was the ladies or the guys. But somebody ended up taking a massive bump through tables. And I was like, and you did it on picture-in-picture. Good job. No audio.
Well, see, that was
No
like,
audio.
I wish they would have had picture-in-picture last night during Edge's and Damian Priest's match because
Didn't they?
they cut away to commercial. Yeah, they cut away to commercial, and when they came back, come to find out, they showed a clip. Damian Priest had put Edge through the announce table on the commercial break.
But they did also do picture-in-picture during that match. Like the first commercial break, they cut the picture-in-picture.
He put the guy through the table while it was on TV. It wasn't a commercial. Because he gave him that Razor's Edge power bomb through the table.
I fast-forwarded through that. I hate to say it.
Gosh. But yeah, I mean, that picture-in-picture is it can be very tedious, no doubt about it. Like I said, it all depends on the match. Yeah, I think when Punk and MJF, I think they had one or two of those. Well, we wanted to see that match, So it's like,
According to Infrared, $750K for both of the Good Brothers. And I'm assuming when you say both, that means they're splitting $325,000 each, which is still a good chunk of change. I mean, obviously advertisers pay a little bit of money, but it's Access TV. How much money? I don't know.
I don't know either. So a Triple H in charge. Should Omos be scared about his career?
I did see a video somewhere.
Omos needs to go.
He should never come.
I call him No Mas. I call him No Mas because every time I see him on the
He's
TV,
terrible. He's so bad. I look at him, I watch, and I say, Elegante.
yeah.
I mean, at least Elegante looked like he was enjoying it. This looks like he's being pulled through the mud by a truck.
Yeah, I agree. And I think of it and I'm like, man, I know those budget cuts may not be so much, but with Triple H, gotta be like, do we really need this guy? And where is it? His career is done after this. Who's interested in him?
No, and somebody was saying with Triple H around that they might bring Nia Jax back. Actually, in the chat board here, I skipped over and meant to go back. I'm like,
whoa,
hey.
who said that? Because I want to block them.
It's in the chat here somewhere. Uh-oh, somebody in trouble now.
Who said that? Because I'm gonna start shooting. Who said that?
It's here somewhere. Hold on, let's go back.
Who said that?
Sorry. If you're going to put things in writing, they live forever on the internet.
Nia Jax.
Let's see. He was back here. Maybe it's further back than I thought.
Oh my god.
We've got Shotzi hurting enough people. We don't need Nia Jax back hurting people too.
Yeah, I mean, she heard Kyrie Sane.
I
so
don't see
she
it, but
went
it's here
to the
somewhere.
fan, and she heard everybody like, oh my god, she's terrible.
Not only that, she's becoming a royal bitch from everything I hear. I mean, granted, I'm not in the locker room, and who knows how much of this stuff you can truly believe or not, but I'm just saying there was nothing about her that was ever entertaining. I mean, she's a big look. Awesome Karma, whatever you want to call her. One of the damn best, if not the best, big girl wrestler ever.
Loved her.
In the scene, she's really nice to me. If you ever met her, she's really nice too.
That's what I hear. I didn't get a chance, but what she could do in the ring and that finisher, I mean, it was perfect. And here comes Nia, and it's like there's no reason she shouldn't be able to do almost the same, and she couldn't. You know, you could say whatever you want about your bloodline, your lineage, your whatever. They also say talent skips a generation.
Well,
Man.
and we all know if she wasn't related to The Rock, she would have been probably let go. Well,
She made it past development.
if it's like the size too, he's always a size person. So,
Okay, this just in.
no.
EC3 is in the NWA.
Is he?
According
I
to
ain't
Prime
watched it
Time.
recently.
Me neither. I couldn't. It just got so bad. I finally threw in the towel. I was paying for their subscription service for up until about 7 months ago, and it's still not expensive or anything. I think $49 for the year, including the pay-per-views. But I don't want to watch them. you got Trevor Murdoch as your world champion. I'm tapping out.
Well, is that control your narrative promotion even a thing anymore?
That's what I was just gonna say. I thought he was all stuck in that. So that's a good question.
That's going to be
Prime Time. What's the answer? Is
Oh.
the narrative still existing?
Yes, is it? It is still a thing.
I'm
So is
waiting
that
on Prime
Raw
Time. He
and
seems to be
Next?
well versed on this.
Maybe a little.
He's wrestling Mims on the anniversary show. Well, damn it, where's my $20? Nothing gonna put my ass in a seat faster than EC3 against Mims.
Well, okay, well. So your narrative still exists. Well, I mean, Cross was part of that promotion. He didn't stay long. I'm sure.
I mean, when we say it exists, are they actually having cards? Like, I haven't seen a single damn thing with them. Have they done a show?
Yeah, they've done some tapings in places. I thought they were going to be released on some kind of network.
You just stole my next line. Are they going to release these tapes? Because I haven't seen anything. And I spend a reasonable amount of time, or maybe an unreasonable amount of time on YouTube, and it tends to filter wrestling shit my way.
Well, yeah, same here. But you know what? There's so much wrestling that I watch too. I don't have room to watch another promotion. I try just trying to find Japanese stuff and all that. So time to watch that stuff.
Well, I look at it this way. I have time for another promotion. What it is you have to be better than what's out there, and then I'll stop watching them.
I mean, I watch the Japanese women promotion over there because they actually have some pretty good matches. It's actually a quality promotion.
Is that
So I
the-
try to promote.
Is that the Star?
Stardom? Yep.
Yeah, I've
heard of
started
that.
watching them. Oh,
Yeah.
they actually are really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of talent that's on TV today have gone through there. Not just Japanese girls, but even like the Dakota Guys and Tony Storm.
Okay.
Tony Storm. A lot of them have went through that promotion because Io obviously was from there. Kairi Sane was there. She's back. Yeah, Tony Storm. She was their champion there for a couple of years, I thought. I want to say even Thunder Rosa was there a little bit. I don't know. There's quite a list though. So that
So
Blair
according to
Jeff-
Infrared, they did a show, and they have a touring schedule. They tried to get a TV deal, but that has not happened yet, I guess.
Well, so control your narrative straight to DVD, huh?
We'll see. I have a funny feeling that Control Your Narrative is going to equal pretty shitty wrestling.
Well, wasn't there some of the rules? It was like no super kicks, no.
Yeah, they had some really stupid rules. No
I mean-
super kicks.
I get it because everyone does a super kick nowadays, but
I look at it this way. If you wanted to push it as a wrestling promotion, like old school WWF 1970s, early 1980, then say that's what we're doing. We're focusing on the sport of wrestling. So you're not going to see these ridiculous super kick moves and Canadian destroyer pile drivers and things of that nature. By the way, Edge hitting the Canadian destroyer.
yeah, I was shocked by that.
I'm telling you what, never too late to teach an old dog a new trick.
And if
I
you're
was
gonna
like,
do it,
what the fuck did he just do?
and that was the place to break out the Canadian Destroyer.
Right. I don't think he'll do
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah, I don't think he'll do that again. But
It reminds me, when I saw that, I had a quick flashback to the last time Punk and Cena went head to head to finally end the feud, and it was on Raw. Cena, I think, pulled out a pile driver. And I want to say Punk did his Pepsi plunge. the
Wow.
pedigree off the top rope. They
Yep.
pulled out. Or Cena went for a Hurricane Runner. Didn't come out real well, but he did it. And they just pulled out shit that neither one of them. At least Punk hadn't done it in WWF. Cena had never done it. Period. Stuff that he did.
Yeah.
And it made that match, because how do you have that match with them again and make it original? You've done so many, and now this is the go-home match where I don't think the title was even on the line. Neither one, I think, had the belt at that moment. It was just to settle the feud, and man, it delivered based on all that. The fact that they pulled it out, and that's what I thought about when he hit that Canadian Destroyer last night. This is, yeah, man, it's a one-time deal. He'll probably never do it again, but that's the time to do it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot that Petey Williams was a producer for WWE.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Totally forgot he was there. I think Abyss is still there too, right?
Yeah, and they just cut Jarrett loose.
Yeah.
It's like, dude just got here, man. At least let him sit down.
He just got back.
Hey,
He
come here,
left.
pal. Saw you on that Ric Flair last match thing, huh? Got your ass kicked, so this won't be anything new for you. You're fired.
Oh boy.
You know
here
who they
comes-
brought in to replace him, right?
Oh,
Probably
you
not
didn't
here.
know?
Oh, no.
That's right. Yep.
Fiji?
Yep.
Well, then he can stop crying on the internet to Tony Khan for a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys just did a dumpster match? Well, hell, you could have called somebody that knows about one. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I ain't getting you no job. That's the thing off with all that crap. I'm surprised they brought him back so quick. Not that I
Yeah.
was going to have anything. I mean, I never gave a shit about a Jeff Jarrett match ever. Then Global never did anything for me. Him as the NWA/TNA champion never did anything for me. As the Intercontinental champion never did anything for me. So I'm like, is he possibly? It's like some guys can't play a game, but they're hell of a good coach. So I'm willing to say maybe he's really good as a coach, or like Shawn Michaels. I mean, well, Shawn Michaels is great at everything, but he's killing it as a coach. Matter of fact, they just gave him a title. He's now vice president in charge of talent development or something like that, but he's got an actual title now.
Yeah. Who thought DX would be running the business?
Well,
I know, right? All they need is
They're
Billy
doing
Gunn back.
their run.
Well, yeah. Well, Billy Gunn's busy on the other promotion right now, but yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
scissoring everybody.
I mean, as long as his kids are there. Now, if his kids would get offered in WWE, which maybe I could see down the line.
Oh yeah, 100%. I can see that. 100%, especially with the lineage and the fact that the new DX. Are you kidding me? You don't think Hunter would be in love with that idea?
Yeah, they're not small guys or anything. They got, I mean,
No, they're good, and they're great athletes.
I could see them part of the system there.
Great personalities. Oh yeah, 100%. New DX. So you get the. We always see two, but there's three of them, right? Isn't there a third brother?
I've only seen the two.
I feel like I saw a third one, either on Dark or some other up and coming promotion, or maybe I'm not. Or maybe I'm wrong. But either way, you
No,
got
I've
the
only
two.
seen the two.
Okay, maybe I was confusing that with something else. But then who else would you bring? Who would you bring in to lead a new DX? Can't be Billy. He's too old. I mean, he could be part of it, but he can't be that guy. He can't be the Triple H or the Shawn Michaels.
Well,
LA Knight. I could go with LA Knight. They got to get him the hell out of this whole friggin' male model bullshit. I'm sorry. It's like, I asked myself, if he knew what they were going to do with him, would he have gone? And the answer is yes, because he wants the money. And I don't fault him for that. I mean, he's, how old is he now? 40 at least, right?
I think so. And there's a significant increase when you get called up to the main roster. So
Right. But I'm just saying, he's at that point of his career now where you got to make that money. It's not like you're 22 and you got another 15, 25 years.
Very true. Very true. I don't know. A new leader, DX, it's got to be somebody young that's. But who?
Primetime wants to hire X-Pac to be their manager. Well, I'm thinking you already got Billy Gunn if that's the case.
I got nothing wrong with X-Pac. I don't know if he's
Mm-hmm.
quite the mouthpiece, though. He's not really a...
Not like Billy. Billy's great with a mic.
Yeah, X-Pac
Always
was
has
always
been.
the guy that was always pretty silent on the microphone. He wasn't...
Yeah. He didn't say much. I mean, he was okay with what he did, but he wasn't going to go out there and give you a 10-minute promo.
No.
Especially on his own. I mean, he'd be part of a group doing it. Like when they took that knock on the Four Horsemen that time. Damn,
Oh,
I really can't figure out who would be a good fit. I mean, forget WWE, just in any promotion to be that third guy.
Who's the third man?
I'd almost say Sammy Guevara. With the attitude. I mean, somebody'd have to train him how to wrestle so he doesn't hurt people, but
And he's got to leave Tay at home.
I'm not sure that wouldn't be a good thing to bring her along. She's good for the heat now.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that 2 years ago? I mean, I thought, the world or 2 years ago. Now I generally kind of get sick of her. Again, not her the person, but the character is just like, shut that bitch up.
Well, she's doing her job then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
I guess I
get
just
what
didn't
you
see her in the heel role, and it pissed me off that she did it.
Hmm.
See, with
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa, she was in NWA, she was the heel, and then she became babyface when they, I won't say mistake, but it was a mistake because that's your heel, and then you're showing her training for that real cage fight when she was doing her MMA career as well, and they did the whole documentary on her training, the fight. She ended up losing the fight, but, really poured her heart out into it, and now you loved her. It's like, how do you root against her? And then they had to turn her babyface. Now she's kind of getting annoying again.
I agree.
And who knows what's true anymore? I mean, they let stuff out to make it seem like there's backstage this and backstage that, but a lot of rumbling that she a bitch. So,
Well, I haven't heard that one, but I can kind of see it. I don't know. I'm not. This is gonna shock a lot of people, perhaps. I'm not a Thunder Rosa fan.
I am based on her talent and her work. I love the T-shirt she comes up with now, something like sandbagging since 2020 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
was what a perfect way to embrace that bullshit story about a girl who had no business in the damn ring because she's not ready. And for people to say she's sandbagging, no, you watch that match. That girl didn't know what the hell she was doing. She was a deer in headlights, and she done fucked up.
Oh yeah, Marina Shafir. Yeah.
Yeah. And because then she did it the next week and screwed up too. Is everybody sandbagging her?
No. It's kind of like Aaliyah on Raw. She looked lost.
Yeah.
Lost.
Yeah.
I hate to admit it because I think she's cute as shit.
Yeah, she's been with that company 8 years.
Yeah, she's going to be the next JoJo, I think. They'll give her a microphone and have her doing backstage segments or something because she's so pretty.
Yeah. I'll give you that. She does have athleticism. So I mean, she's doing the splits and all that. kind of
Yeah,
stuff. It's not
holy
like she
cow.
doesn't have talent, but
I grabbed myself last night when I saw that split because I hurt. Like,
Yeah.
oh, don't do that.
But she just seems so lost. Like she's pandering to the crowd so much, and she's messing things up, and it just was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but part of that, I think, that crowd, granted, I mean, if you've ever been to one of these live shows like this with the Raw and all that stuff, it's so much longer than what you're seeing on TV because they had a 2-hour pre-show of like with AAW, they're doing dark before they do Dynamite. So by the time you get to the main event or even halfway through the card, you're damn tired, man. You've been screaming and hollering and whatever. And now you got a couple beers in you. It's a long day. God forbid you go to Mania. I mean, shit. Sleeping bag with you, man. You're going to be there all damn day, 24 hours. So she did not get a hot crowd to begin with. By the
and
time
that's her
she got
hometown.
there.
They said, and she still did get it. It's just
Yeah.
Nothing at all. So when
What?
you do have that big announcement that a Toronto girl, blah blah blah, and there's no, you get the crickets, that fucks with your head. I didn't get my pop. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. So now how much is she in her own head not thinking of the match the way she should be because she didn't get a reaction already and feel, what was I just watching? Biography, which...
But I've never seen one match of hers where I'm like, oh, wow. Like, she's improving or anything. She's just, every time I see her, it's just...
What was
I
the
don't know.
recent biography that they just did on, I can't remember which wrestler it was, though. I just watched it.
It's not Mysterio, right? Because Mysterio's...
No, I skipped that one. I skipped that one. But it was like, he had mentioned it was his debut. Was it Hunter? No. It was his debut match. And he went over the top rope onto the floor and knocked the guy out. And that ended up ending the match on Raw live. And he said, I'm done. I said, oh, Edge.
Yeah,
Edge.
his was the last one.
Yeah, Edge. He went over the top rope, did the somersault flip, landed on whatever jobber it was, and legit knocked his ass out. And he's like, oh my God. And you could see it on his face that he's like, oh my God, these guys are not going to work with me. You can already hear the rumbling that he's not safe and all that kind of stuff. All this goes through your mind when you're still trying to break into a roster. And here's Aaliyah coming out in Toronto, being announced from Toronto, and nobody gave a shit. You got to be thinking, oh, I'm fucked.
But she was in NXT for a long time. She's been with them 8 years. And
Yeah.
even when she got called up, it was like, what?
Well, I guess they figured, hey, at this point in time, either she's up or she's out. So we'll move her up and see what happens. But I think
that's kind of where they're at. Put her in a spot and see it if she...
yeah, I'm pretty sure out's what's coming up next. Or, like I said, JoJo did all right doing the in-ring work with the microphone and things of that nature. So maybe that'll be the path forward for her. Well, listen, we're at 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's been a blast, but I'm pretty sure that when you're doing the free service, 3 hours will cap you off, and they'll kick you at 3 hours as well. Not that I thought that was going to be an issue. With StreamYard, if you're not paying for it, there's a cap on the single stream length. There was something I read when I was setting it up, and I think it was 3 hours. Anyway, I got work in the morning, and I'm getting tired.
Yeah, actually, it's one of those, I know I'm not going to fall asleep, but yeah, I hear you.
What's the old saying? We ain't got to go home, but we got to get up out of here. I'm trying to see.
Right.
Where was? I want to test something else while we're here.
And whoever said Nia Jax, no. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are.
But we'll find you.
If you're suspended for a little while, you'll know what. No, I won't do that. But...
Not as far as you know. I'm going to try something here and see if it works. Desktop.
She's not like most girls. That was her theme song. Well, that's true.
I don't eat like most girls.
No comment. I plead the fifth. Just remember, oh my hole.
Yeah, that is great.
That became quite a meme thing with that. Oh my God.
Oh, that was good times, no doubt about it.
Oh, that's right. I even made one too. I said, no holes barred. Put her on the poster of the no holes barred. I said, I made it no holes barred.
That was the only time I found her entertaining, by the way. My hole!
Yeah, me too.
First time I saw that video, I think I just laughed for 5 minutes.
I couldn't believe it either. I didn't watch it. Somebody told me it's like, this is a thing. Let's make some memes. I'm like, what is it? It's like, oh yeah, I can see where I've become. People are saying too much Taco Bell, too much this, too much that. Oh my hole now. I was like, no holes.
I always wondered if she was told to say that, or if she just blurted it out.
The way she reacted, I forget. She landed like hard on the apron, I believe.
Yeah, her ass.
Right.
And man, that look on her face. If she's that good an actress to be in Hollywood, then I say that looked legit to me. Everything about her eyes watering.
I think so. I think so too. That sums up her career.
But then
right?
I also believe that her and Charlotte were legit getting into that little scrum And there's some rumor that might have been a work, and it's like, well, damn, that you made me believe it was a shoot.
Hey, just remember before Moxley left, Vince wanted to do Moxley versus Nia Jax as a match.
Oh,
And absolutely nobody wants to see that.
God.
Talk about a train wreck.
What is it? Bowling shoe ugly? Yes.
yeah.
Bowling shoe, yeah. Bowling shoe ugly. That's a JR line there. That's tougher than a $2 steak.
Surgery on Friday prime time. I don't know what your surgery is, but good luck, man.
What did I miss here?
I've had 4 or 5 surgeries myself in my time. They're not fun. So, good luck.
Yep.
Prime time. Yeah, man. Be good. Check in. Let us know how you doing. How you doing? All right. Man, it took like 2 minutes to upload a 12-second video. Now let's see if it'll be a good outro. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us so much. It's went a lot longer than expected, but it's been fun and good, and we'll do it more often for sure. Jay and D Train here joining me tonight. Thank you, guys. Like I said, we got some big interviews coming up in the near future. I got like 3 guys all saying yes. We just got to work out the details and the whens and the whats. The guy with the comic book / magazines, I'll have some links where you can buy them yourselves if you want to. And I'll go over some of the ones that I go through that I bought, probably 6 of them, I think. So I'm going to read through those, and then I'll have some reference material to share with you guys a little bit. And he said that he could probably get 1 or 2 of these guys to come on with him, which would be extra cool. I love the fact that we're doing a little bit more of this and a little less of the games, and because quite honestly, the game's not so good. 3 years without a good game makes it hard to want to keep on doing that. You know what I'm saying?
See, I collect comic books, so I got to go and find me some of those now.
There you go. Well, I will have all that information right here for you, where to get it, and the man will be on as well. So if you have any questions, we'll have the chat form to do that in. And I'm glad I tried this out tonight. I'm glad you guys were part of it, because believe me, it wouldn't have gone 3 hours without you. All right, everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you real soon. Once again, ringside here on the Nation Network.